Hello and welcome everyone to the live viewing of the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship Season 2 with me, the director of the series, and also the contestants of Season 2 and of the upcoming Season 3 are going to join us occasionally to say hi and to watch the Season 2 together with us, to introduce themselves. So it's going to be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be here for quite a while until we watch all the episodes. So for about 2.5 hours, maybe up to 3. I will also be sharing some of the behind the scenes stories of what actually happened while we were filming. So it's really going to be a fun time. Before that, I also want to remind, or actually, I wanted to tell you that, well, let me at a very bad time. Okay, sound off. Now we're good. So I also wanted to remind everyone, actually, okay, so first of all, I wanted to share with everyone that we have actually achieved the crowdfunding goal for Season 3. So this is a huge achievement. That means Season 3 is getting the green light. We're definitely going to film it. It has been already scheduled. And as soon as I get the crowdfunding money, I will start buying the tickets for all the upcoming contestants. Now, at the same time, I also wanted to let everyone know that the 30K sum that the crowdfunding was collecting, that was the bare minimum. That was like the very, very minimum that I needed to get the flights, to get the hotel where everyone's going to live, to pay the participants for participation. So it's going to just cover the main costs of the filming, but there's a lot of other costs that are going to be involved. And a lot of you were asking for longer episodes, which is definitely possible to pull off, but that also needs more extra budget. So if you want the episodes to be longer for Season 3 and you want to see them earlier than anyone else, you'll see the link on the bottom, which is usdchampionship.com/support. If you go there, you can still support Season 3 for quite a while. The official end time is in 4 days, I believe. But even after that, you can still support it. And so every support, every donation matters. It makes a difference. It makes the show even better and bigger. So the fact that I just wanted to emphasize that the fact that we reached the goal is still not the end. Anyone who can still support the show, it's going to help make it better and will help make it go smoother. So that's okay. I'm going to say that a number of times today, but I wanted to make sure I will mention it here. And now, since I have said that, let's just go right to the point and watch the very first episode together, and I'll break it down with you. We have all asked ourselves, what is the best martial art for self-defense? So this intro, I already wanted to emphasize that I personally really love how it turned out. I spent a lot of time editing it, but first of all, I wanted to show that Season 2 is going to be bigger, better. It's going to be more like a TV show, and so we have this epic music, which I think is actually inspired by The Mandalorian, the TV show, which is a great show, by the way. And it's also very important from the get-go to make sure that the viewers. Okay, sorry. See, someone is saying it's hard to hear. Hard to hear me. If that's still the case, let me know. I'm trying to minimize the sound of the show. If that's better, let me know, please. Okay, so continuing on, it's very important to hook the viewer because there's a lot of so-called cold viewers who have no idea what the championship is about. So it's super important for me that from the first 20 seconds, you understand what's happening and you can jump into the show and just enjoy it and know what's happening. Also, I took this different approach here where Season 1, I really jumped into the action right away, and I feel like I didn't give enough context. But in Season 2, I wanted to give more breathing space and to introduce all the contestants, also to show that we had a much better place than in Season 1 to live at. In Season 1, I was one of the contestants, as probably most of you know, and we were all living in the same facility where we were doing the challenges. So Jeff Chan actually literally slept in the MMA cage. His mattress was next to the MMA cage. I slept in the Shank Tank room with my wife, and some people got better rooms, like Ramsey G actually got one of the two nice rooms with an actual bed. Icy Mike had a really nice room. I think he was the first one to take it. But generally, we're just like kind of a ragtag team, just like all living together in this training facility. But in season two, I wanted to make sure that again we become bigger and better, and we managed to secure this house, which actually this house belongs to a person. His name is Irish Wick, which is a crazy cool name. It's like John Wick, but Irish Wick. And he actually was a fan of the show. And when I approached him for the house, he eventually said, "You know what? Just take it for free. Just do it there." So it was a really cool sign that the show has a lot of love, and it's really cool to meet someone who was willing to give something for us to make the show better. And I just missed the cool part. I'll actually go back a little bit. So these scrolls, they were organized by my brother, who was helping organize some of the show. They were custom made, and we sent them all to the participants, and um, they had the right to film their introductions the way they wanted to. And Branson, he's a brilliant editor. He has a really great sense of humor, and he did this really cool skit. Of, I actually think these subtitles are saying something like "one, two, three, four. I love apples," something like that. Just pure crazy nonsense, which is very funny. So yeah, Anton Ranton did a great job, and he was very concerned, as he says here, about being the underdog. He knew coming in that he doesn't stand a chance against the other guys. As if you watch the show, actually he did really well, especially later on. But initially he was very concerned, and when I started to have conversations with him online, and I said, "Ranton, I really want you in the show. Come on, man." He was, because I learned that he was a fan. He loved season one. And I said, just let's join. Let's do it. And he was like, "Oh, man." He actually hates traveling for a long time. He doesn't like leaving his house. And he's very open about that. And Australia is as far as you can get. And he knew he's going to get his ass kicked in most of the places. And eventually he said, "You know what?" I just talked to him, and I kept encouraging him. He goes, "You know what? Let's just do it." And we would just commit it, and he did it. And it was one of the best things ever. Now, with the hide and go stab, it was we changed it up a little bit. For example, there's the option of using improvised weapons, which backfired a little bit because it's difficult to track how especially if there's no judge around. I think that was the mistake, to be honest, where it's hard to judge. Okay, this knock out the person, the attacker, or not. But it was a nice addition because improvised weapons is one of the best things you can use for in a fight against a knife attacker. And also too, it was interesting that the season 2 contestants, they used the inspiration from season 1. They saw that everyone got shanked, everyone got killed, and Ranton and Nathan, they just decided to just go at the attackers, not hide. I was like, holy crap, that's sweet, that's awesome. And this was one of the editing tricks I used while editing to make sure that people don't get bored, that they see, okay, there's action coming, especially the cold viewers who have no idea what's happening. So I was mixing it up with some action and then introductions, so to make sure it's more interesting. And Jordan here, we actually suggested him to be choking someone out, and then to put the scroll on the back of the person he's choking out, and while he's choking the person out, we suggested him to then sign the scroll. But at the same time, it seems that he's a very nice guy, so maybe he just didn't want to do it to his students. But that was the original idea, and it was close enough here. But yeah. And it was also too interesting that Jordan is actually a good striker. So part of me really wanted, or also in the future, I want to have purists, people who are just they only did jiu-jitsu, they don't know how to strike, or maybe a boxer, they do only boxing and they don't know how to grapple. One day, hopefully, we'll get those people because it's going to be an interesting experiment. But yeah. At the same time, let's make sure to give a shout out to the legend of season 1. Everyone's amazing, but obviously Craig got a lot of love. And I'm explaining it here, but it's factual truth. Initially, we were supposed to have the basketball player, but then he broke the foot just like 2 weeks before, and it was like, oh my god, it seems like the worst thing that can happen. And I was having a call with Jeff Phillips, the co-host, the person who the mastermind behind the challenges in season 1 and season 2. And I told him like there's two types of people that the viewers want. One is a bodybuilder was a very popular option, and another one is a regular person. And Jeff Phillips said, "Hey, I know the perfect regular person. It was Craig." And just he asked him like, "Hey, we have in 2 weeks we have this competition." He wasn't preparing. He didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and he's like, "I'm just gonna do it, sure." Which is very now that I know Craig, it fits his character very well. But I didn't know, how awesome it's going to be. I thought, okay, it's going to be a regular person. It's going to be what it's going to be. But then when I got to know Craig, when I saw how he's performing and his relationship to everyone and the challenges, I was like, damn, that worked out really well. And this was a bit of a controversial moment because a lot of people were giving crap to Jordan for not wanting to team up. He later told me, because I was not there, I was not part of the filming. I was actually sick in bed with COVID and just organizing everything through phones. So it turns out they discussed this before and kind of made a communal decision, but it's they still went separately. And this part actually actually when I was editing, I laughed quite a bit because Jordan was having like this complicated, complex plan. He scoped out the place and he found this spot under the stairs and he was preparing for it. And Craig was like, "Hey, I found this bush. I think I'm gonna lie in this bush." And I was like, "God damn it! That's the most opposite way they could have went." And this is the unfortunate part where Jordan just came out and just right into the attacker, but he escaped quite well. I mean, there's this flying knee, really beautiful moment. Luckily, got captured. And then there's the unfortunate part of him running down the slope just too far, too hard with adrenaline going, and he falls. And he still like does a little bit of fighting, push-offs, a couple push-offs. This guy, but then free knife attackers, it's not good for you. And then there's the no shoes part, which is like, again, I was not there. I was not there on the film on the day of filming. I learned about the no shoes part only later. I got calls like, "Oh damn, like Jordan got injured." I was like, "What is happening?" And then I learned he didn't have shoes, and I was like, "My God, what is happening out there, like outside of my room where I'm trying to coordinate things without seeing it?" But luckily, he wasn't injured badly, and he was able to continue. And then we're back to Craig coming out of his bush. And it was very fortunate here, by the way, as an editing moment, because we placed a number of 360 cameras. We didn't know if it's going to capture anything, but Craig was specifically at this moment, and luckily the 360 camera caught it, so it was a nice shot. Besides, the action camera here, and he was doing a good job. I mean, honestly, to be honest, he did do the hide and go stab a number of times because he's a student of Jeff Phillips, but still, he's doing an amazing job here. And then he pushes off the attacker like a tank, and unfortunately doesn't outrun him, which is, again, one of those big moments where a lot of people say, just run away from a knife. But here again, you can see it clearly that that's not always an option. There's so many elements involved, like especially if you don't have shoes, But more seriously, yeah, it was actually not dummy, it was actually another word. But yeah, running away, it's not always going to work. And that's one of the visions behind the show. It's to show everyone that there's a lot of myths in self-defense, and not everything is as simple, because a lot of people like to say, just run away or just do that. But they don't pressure test it. They don't try it against people who really want to get them. And yeah, I see people are laughing from the dummy. I honestly, that's what I heard. Like, honest truth, when I was editing, I don't know what was wrong with my brain. Maybe it was like censoring swear words, but I heard dummy like multiple times. And then later somebody pointed out, "Oh, he didn't see dummy." I'm like, "What did he say?" And then somebody told me he was saying CUNT. I was like, "Wait a second." And then I listened in. I was like, "Yeah, I kept mishearing it." Anyway, okay, so this was an awesome sequence as well. Nathan and Ranton just going against what everyone is expecting. But also there was this funny moment. I don't know if that's it came out as funny as it was for me when editing, because I was like, oftentimes I find myself just laughing from what happened while editing, because he's just like runs out just exactly in front of him. I was like, oh my God, it's like that was not how it's supposed to be. But then they still turn it into this chaotic battle for life. So yeah, that was pretty solid. And yeah, unfortunately get jumped. And Ranton here, he's stabbing people with a self defense spin. But again, I think an improvement because I'm very honest about mistakes and how we can improve things. I'm always open to constructive feedback. I think in the hide and go stab, it would be good to have judges around who would call and say, "Oh, you got stabbed. There's the pen," and there was no judge here, and it made things confusing because the pen is like protected with a rubber for training purposes. So the guys didn't know that they're getting stabbed. Could have been different, but at the same time, it's like any competition that you will have, including the most prestigious UFC, there's always going to be some elements which will not go well with the judges. Like a lot of people, like the judging will never be perfect, and we have to accept that. But I think the most important thing is to learn the lessons and to improve season by season, to keep making better seasons, which is very strong intention for me. So many times movies they just get worse, part after part, or seasons of series. But I want to be the exception. I want this to always be better and better and better. And now, Jesse, you can hear the Japanese music, Japanese flute behind. I enjoyed how that worked out, and this again was filmed by him, with pretty much no guidance, just an idea of what we're looking for. But the ninja was totally his idea. The way he filmed it's very cinematic. I think Jesse Enkamp, we're good friends, but just honestly, I think he's one of. Oh, actually, my goodness, I just realized we have a guest. Let me see. Uh, hey, Randy. Sorry, did I miss you for a long time? I just kept blabbling on.
No, just got here.
Gil, great. I was like, I saw you on the waiting list. I was like, whoa, I hope you were not here for long. So I'll just introduce you very briefly so everyone know who you are, and then you can introduce yourself a bit more. So everyone, this is Randy Turner, who I'm super excited to have for season 3. He's a contestant of the upcoming season. So correct me if I missay something, but former special forces soldier slash
Correct.
assaulter.
That's
That's like
right.
the specific term, which is a very cool term. And also a MMA champion. Can you actually tell a little bit about that too?
Yeah, fought in Canadian circuit, and I was a flyweight and a bantamweight competitor in MMA. And at one point, I held a bantamweight title here in Canada, and once was ranked within the top 10 in Canada with both flyweight and bantamweight.
Nice, nice. So yeah, you're just like a total badass.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And also, is there anything you can tell a little bit about your special forces backgrounds, so that people would again know a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I started my military career early. I was 19 years old, and I was an infantry soldier to start, and then I went special forces. So with an organization called Joint Task Force 2 in Canada, um, 8 operational deployments. Spent a lot of time in Afghanistan, and I retired at the end of 2019.
Nice. I'm sure there's a lot of stories there, but I won't ask them for you here. First question: have you seen season 2? Did you have a chance? Because I never expect people to have seen it. There are
Yeah,
some contestants, I won't say who he was, but when we just started filming season 2, I expected everyone to see it, but then I learned some of them just saw almost nothing. I'm like, you're participating in next season and you haven't even seen it. I'm like, I'm okay with that, but like that's a strange choice. But so, what about you? Have you seen the one of
yeah.
some of the episodes?
So after you and I did our initial consultation call, then I systematically watched each episode that was available. There was a couple that, as you made mention to, that kind of got frozen or weren't highlighted on the YouTube channel. But what was available, yeah, I watched each and every one of them. I think it's great. What you guys are doing is awesome. And honestly, for what it's worth, Rokas, man, like you put a lot of effort into this, and for what it's worth, from me to you, like thank you for putting all that effort in. I know it's not easy, and you keep pushing to get this off the ground. So, I really appreciate you reaching out, and B, I'm excited to be part of this season 3.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. That just hearing that people enjoyed the show and that work just kind of comes together and people enjoy it. It means a lot to hear it from you. So thank you very much. And I'm super excited to have you when I learned that there was an possibility, because a lot of people were asking and saying like, hey, we wish. Actually, stop this moment because we can comment a little bit afterwards. But so a lot of people were saying like, oh, you get a special forces person, get a special forces person. I was like, how will I ever get there? I'm like, I don't know any special forces, soldiers. And it's like, would they ever be interested? And then actually, I presume that's not a secret. Stop me, it is. But Jeff Chan connected us. Like Jeff Chan told that you may be interested. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. So, and then I learned about you, and I was like, this is destiny. So I'm super excited to have you here.
Yeah, Jeff and I have known each other a long time. Him and I started training together when he was literally just a teenager, and so him and I have known each other a long time. We really grew up together in the martial arts community, and we fought on a few cards together. And he's just a genuine human being, and we whenever we get an opportunity to train together, we always have a good time. So yeah, he's a good dude.
Very cool. Yeah, Jeff Chan is one of the best. And when he said that you're a great person, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm like, I have no doubts about it. So very cool. Now, I'll actually just start running the show. We're speaking of Jeff Chan, and then we can just comment a little bit about it and talk about anything while it goes. But this is the legendary part of Jeff Chan and Jesse Encom going for a fight against 5 guys with knives. Have you seen this one?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, were you surprised that Jeff Chan took this approach of just going at them?
I'm not surprised, actually. I'm not surprised at all that he would try to strike and kick people and take people down. So what I was surprised when I watched it is whoever it was that jumped on the other guy's back, I was surprised at that. I guess that's a bold move, because we don't know what the human's going to do and how they're going to move. So yeah, for him to literally launch his feet off of the ground to try to attack somebody is pretty wild.
Which is crazy too, because that was Jesse Encom, the person in blue. That he's a karate black belt first and foremost, and he does like grappling and he did a little bit of MMA and he did everything, but he's primarily a karate black belt. So that's not the person you'd expect to jump on somebody's back, and then he chokes the person out, like the person taps out. I was like, what is happening? So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Chan, Jesse gets into knife fighting, which actually brings me to a question. Do you do knife fighting yourself? Because you do knife defense, right?
I do, yeah. So I teach a little bit of knife defense, a little bit of how to use a blade. So yeah, I dabble with it a little bit. I've been very fortunate to travel to almost 50 countries in the world, and each and every country that I went to, I found different places to train. And along those journeys, I've been exposed to some of the Kali martial art, which some of it I find is very show-like. It's nice to watch, but I don't see how it's applicable in the real world. That being said, I just kind of developed my own system to what I believe to be a little bit more applicable for the real world.
That's so exciting. Like, I'm hoping, I can't reveal and spoil what challenges are being planned for season 3, but I hope things will align and we'll get to see you show some cool knife stuff.
Yeah.
So, and would you say that knowing how to fight with a knife helps in defending against a knife?
I think it does. Yeah. When we understand, how dangerous that is and how highly probable or possible it is to consider the fact that somebody's going to get cut, it really changes the way you look and approach at defending it when you know how to apply it. And whether it's a superficial cut to change the behavior of the attacker, or if it's a legitimate lethal strike, where those portions of the body present the biggest risks in terms of losing a lot of blood. I think once you understand how to apply the blade, then you have a better appreciation of how to defend against it.
And also, obviously, without revealing your plan, because you're all like, I presume you're all going to be great friends with the other contestants, because all of you are really good people. But also you're in competition against each other. So without revealing anything, you probably saw the Shang Tang. Did you have ideas of, I would do this differently, or something along those lines?
Not necessarily I would do this differently, because what we don't know is what that person that is acting at. Actually, I'll back up too. I will say hats off to all the role players, because that is not an easy job. Those guys deserve a huge
I
pat on the back, because
I agree.
they take a beating, and they also they know how to behave. Watching them, I was really fascinated at the way the role players kept coming. And where I'm going with that is, we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know how they're going to move. So it's different for each competitor. It's going to be different in every circumstance. I guess the key to success in that is to try to recognize where the threat is coming from, and then how to move your body in the environment given, so you can put some buffer between yourself and that weapon bearing limb. So I mean,
Mhm.
it would be very unfair for me to sit back and be the armchair quarterback saying, oh, I would have done that differently, or that person doesn't know what they're doing. That's unfair, because in a situation like that, it's pretty chaotic, and there's a lot of reacting to what the attacker's throwing at you.
That's a very good sign, because I think the people who don't understand how difficult knife defense is, they're like, I would have done this, or I get comments all day long. They're like, I would have done way better than these guys. I'm like, yeah, no
Yeah,
idea what you're talking about.
yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah,
uh,
not
and
easy.
also tuning into this moment here, Ranton is showing some fun moments. But have you seen this bit? Do you know what this is
Yeah,
about?
yeah. So this
So
was really neat.
yeah.
This was a really interesting scenario, where thinking about improvised tools, weapons, but also outlets, where open doors, where the closed doors, how many people. I thought it was awesome. Really, really neat put together.
uh, I also realized that you're very realistic, so you wouldn't go and like, I would have done this differently, but so you don't go to that route. But did you have any thoughts on how do you think you would have registered what was going on? Because some guys did, others didn't. Do you have any guesses?
I think a lot of it will really come down to the context, like how much information and what information is given prior to the scenario. That will drive the context, I think, of how one may behave. If we're just literally walking from one point of the building to the other with no context to why, or what's the goal, are we trying to get out of the building, are we trying to find people, what is the context, I think would change the way that we approach that situation.
That's a good point. Actually, we did put a little bit of a trick, because so the participants, they knew that this is a challenge. So I think there was the circumstance for them to see that there was a reason for them to observe things around them. So, for example, Natan and Craig, they were really like looking at everything, looking at improvised weapons, taking them. But at the same time, Jeff Phillips, the mastermind behind this challenge, he intentionally said you may have to grapple or strike a little bit, and like Jeff Chan specifically is walking right now, he really focused on that part. It's like, oh, grapple or strike, and then
Yeah,
he didn't care about anything else. And it's
yeah,
like, I think that tunnel vision can happen to all of us, but it's interesting that we can get into that mode where like we just don't see anything anymore when we're so focused on that specific thing.
yeah, agreed.
So yeah.
That's pretty neat. It was well laid out. Looked like an interesting one for sure.
Yeah. Also, too, now it's a challenge, because you, as the participants of the upcoming season, you will know that that this happens. So they're like, okay, we can't tell you to walk through a corridor anymore. So we'll see what happens. I won't tell
Yeah, no,
anything.
for sure. Yeah, I think the first two seasons, the guys going into that, they really had no idea, right? Because
True.
it wasn't televised, and it wasn't shown, so they didn't really know what they were getting into. Now that guys like myself going into season three, we've had opportunity exposure to season one and two. Now we have a rough idea of what we're getting into, right? So hats off to those competitors for season one and two for sure, because they definitely had less information going in.
That's a very good point. For season one, I was participant slash director, so I knew some of the moments that are going to happen, like key ideas about the challenges, because I needed to direct them. But I was officially not given a lot of the information, so it would be fair. But
Right.
then the other guys, they were like freaking out, and like not everyone. Jeff Chan was just having a blast. He was just like, "Give me more." But some of the other contestants, they were like, oh my god, this is way more than I expected, and the unknown was like killing them. There was just so much stress. For the second season, it was already different. The contestants were like, they knew more or less what was coming, and we also kind of took it a bit easier on them, because we had some contestants freak out in season one. We're like, okay, let's make sure nobody freaks out in season two, and we gave them a bit more of a kind of a
Or,
schedule of what's going to happen.
okay.
And then later, we realized that they actually came in expecting the intensity of season 1, and they wanted it, like, because they signed up for that, and they're like, you're not punishing us enough, you're like, push us harder. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't see this coming. So in season 3, I promised everyone I will balance it more. I'll make sure, it's not gonna be too hardcore, but also we're not gonna be take it too easy. So yeah, it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance.
Yeah.
And one more question. Do you practice like scenarios, like some of the scenarios that you see here in the show?
Yeah. So a lot of what I do is I provide training for military and law enforcement, and whether it's tactical firearms or what's referred to as CQC. So CQC is close quarters combat, how to maneuver through structures, knowing that facing people that may be armed with a knife or a gun or mentally disturbed. So I'll create scenarios for these officers that are as realistic as possible based on real life situations that they have experienced. So yeah, we do a lot of creation with scenarios, and I would like, to be completely honest, I would like to be in them more often than actually coordinating them. But yeah, we do a fair bit of it.
Nice. Yeah, I remember I was never like a proper self-defense instructor, but as I used to be a sensei instructor of Aikido, and Aikido is very controversial, and I'm the first person to say that. But I remember that when I was teaching Aikido, I wouldn't train like quite a bit. Like I was missing out on a lot of training, and people would ask me like, "How much do you train on yourself?" I'm like, "I'm teaching all the time. I'm pointing fingers." It's like in jiu-jitsu, I guess it's a bit different, for example, because at the end of the class you can roll with people and you can still I think it's fair to supervise things, but you can do a little bit, but even then I think being the instructor, we have to sacrifice part of that that fun. So I really
I try to stay sharp. Like I try to do my own training, still spar once a week, once every 10 days or so. I'm still on the mat rolling jiu-jitsu once or twice a week, still on the range once or twice a week for my own training to keep my own skills sharp. But I find in the position that I'm in, I often provide it more than I'm actually doing it.
Sure. And do you have any plans for preparing for? Is there a plan to be like, well, I'm just gonna come in and whatever's gonna happen, or your plan is like, I'm gonna actually prepare for this and do a lot of work before it? I mean, you're already training this type of training, but I'm curious about your approach to season 3. What do you have in mind?
The planning preparation, I really want to go in with just an open mind and just respond and react as authentic and as natural as possible. But from a preparation perspective, I'll probably focus a little bit on some strength and conditioning, and mostly like flexibility. I'm a pretty consistently fit guy, but I think there's always areas that we can polish and improve, and I just want to make sure that I minimize the chances of injury. So flexibility, shoulder mobility, strengthening some of those weaker points of my body that I know need a little bit of work. That would be my area of preparation.
It's a very good point. And I'm thinking about similar lines just in general in my life, because you may have heard, because I made it into a thing, but my leg was broken a few months ago in jiu-jitsu by an illegal move. And now I haven't made a video about this. I'm going to make a whole video of like how things are going now. But one of the changes I realized, I'm actually less enthusiastic now about coming back to martial arts, as I'm more enthusiastic about just taking care of my body, because I'm not getting younger. I think things are just going to get worse. And if I don't, like you said, take care of mobility and strength conditioning, probably I'm going to regret that quite a bit. So, so it seems like we're thinking in similar ways. That's great. Now, this was the end of episode 1. I'm going to start episode 2. I also, because for everyone, all the contestants joining, I wanted to make sure that you don't feel like you have to stay for a long time. It's already great you came over, but just wanted to check how are you on time, so it wouldn't keep you just like asking questions until forever.
About 15 minutes, and I have another client coming in. I'm actually in my gym right now. I don't know if you can see that.
Nice. Yeah, let's please do a tour if you can. A little bit.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for a client to come in, and we're going to do some jiu-jitsu training. So
nice.
I got about 15 minutes or so.
Okay, let's make it 10 to make sure that I don't keep you for until the last moment. But it's really great to have you here. So I'm looking at the time now, and so I'll start episode 2, and I see that the mastermind behind the challenges, Jeff Phillips, is going to join us as well. So I'll start the second episode. I'll send him the link because he's missing it, and I'll just let the episode run for a few moments, and then I'll start engaging again. So let's.
It's the tavern I've been telling you about, man.
Honestly, this felt literally the same feeling as being called out to a fight. You're still stressed. It's like the same type of stress.
Is that Jeff Chen?
Yeah.
You gonna let me in? Yeah. Some free drinks? Sure. You drink.
Hold that shit. Get out of here.
The moment hits the fan, adrenaline kicks in.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff happening here already.
Yeah.
Jeff Chan just went wild. Again, which is crazy because he's such a nice guy, but he also, I think, he's a very good content creator. He knows, he wanted to make it entertaining, and he just kind of went hardcore. Once again, it was a little bit similar. Sorry, you were about to say something.
I was just gonna say, you can be a nice guy and still have a switch, right? You can still be able to turn that on, and Jeff has that. Yeah, he's a very nice guy for sure, but he's also a gamer. Like, he likes to train hard and he likes to go hard. So, like, yes, I agree with you. He's also an entertainer. He understands what he's doing. He does a really good job. But man, like, he's got a nice guy's got that switch too. I think he can still be a very easygoing dude with the ability to turn it on when necessary.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Also, too, this was a bit of a controversy. I'm pretty certain about the way this was judged. And actually, talking about that, we have co-host and mastermind behind challenges, Jeff Phillips. I will add him here. Hello, Jeff.
Hello. Hey, Randy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
Yeah, good.
It's crazy because Jeff Phillips, you're 4 a.m. in Australia right now, yeah?
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. So
You're
my voice
pretty
is gonna sound a little
hardcore.
bit croaky.
No, it sounds sexy. You're good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for joining us. So I was about to say, we're watching Jeff Chan creating chaos in the bar, and I want to say that I'm pretty confident about the way we judge this in terms of pointing out where potential excessive force was used. I mean, you never know until the law gets involved. But I also wanted to ask Randy and then you, Jeff, what do you think? So do you think, if you were a judge, Randy, would you have said that this is excessive force, or what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to perception versus reality. What we don't know is what's going through the human mind, right? Their perception of what is a serious danger to, bodily harm and sustaining injury is going to be different for everybody. I think where the line kind of gets crossed sometimes in excessive force is if the behavior is changing of the person that we're dealing with, i.e. they're not attacking or they're backing up or they're literally using words like stop, okay, enough, and we choose not to stop, then that kind of crosses the line on excessive force. But up until that point, if somebody is still resisting and somebody is still swinging, you take whatever necessary means to deal with that situation and get the desired effect. That's the way I look at it.
So it's a good point, because there was actually one moment, I think perhaps even with Jeff Chan, but definitely with Nathan, where the attacker was like, okay, I'm done. And just like Nathan just still beat him up. I was like, okay, I smell excessive force. But Jeff, what would you say? What's your memory of the whole thing?
I think definitely at the start, just that little engagement at the bar where he turned around with the drinks and he double-legged him and things like that. I think that was definitely excessive. But like Randy was saying, each situation requires a different response. And it's all so many variables included. If Jeff felt threatened then he could probably argue it. But, in the court of law, people have gotten off for things that other people have gotten locked up for. So it's not the justice system, it's legal, because quite often justice isn't served. So it's all grey.
Yeah.
Randy, have you seen this part?
Yeah.
Were you? I mean, this was kind of a letdown because actually Jeff Chan was supposed to. Jeff Phillips he prepared the cue polls to break intentionally, and they never even get to use it with Jeff Chan. It was funny, but what were your impressions, Randy, when you saw the scenarios here? Did you have any thoughts about them?
Yeah, my only thought was I wasn't really sure who was who and who was like the good guy or the bad guy. Yeah. So as I was watching it, I thought, I don't know if I would want to take somebody down. I think I'd much rather want to stay on my feet, only because if our head is down, then we potentially could take the boot of somebody that is part of this that we don't even know yet. So I guess we lose a little bit of situational awareness when we're down and in, maybe filling somebody in from the mount position where that, that secondary or tertiary attacker could come in and kick us in the back of the head or in the face. And that could be the end of it. Could be eaten through a straw for the rest of our lives. So I'm not sure I'd want to be, belly down with an attacker if I could in that situation, try to get my back to a wall and really assess who's who and who poses the biggest danger.
It's a good point. I don't know if I'm right, and Jeff, I'll ask you in a moment about that too. But I think I see a tendency that maybe people who train pure MMA, I feel, because most of the times it's just one against one, and then there's a lot of control in taking a person down, and you feel like you're in control. So I think maybe the brain, when there's chaos, there's kind of this desire to like just take someone down, but then some people don't even think like, wait, there's another person here. And I wonder if that happened to Jeff Chan here. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think he just, like he said, he just wanted to put on a show, and that he did. Like, it was great. I was so happy that that's what he decided to do. I just think it just improved the series so much. And yeah, people have that tendency. Like, most people have what they think they'll do in a fight and what they will actually do. And quite often they don't meet up. And, I've been in fights where I've done things totally out of character, things I would never think I would do. And yeah, you just sort of go into autopilot to some extent, which is very difficult to control. So, a lot of experts will say, oh, I'll do this or I'll do that. But, to be honest, we don't know what we're going to do in the moment. It's just each circumstance is different.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. What we think we're going to do and then what actually happens when there's an element of stress and duress in the equation, sometimes it's very different.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we have Ranton here, who I imagine he didn't expect to not switch on, and then he's hiding behind the good guy. So he was very vocal about the fact that he just couldn't turn on and kind of feel like this is like really happening. So Randy, because you do scenarios, I imagine probably people come in knowing exactly what they're getting into, like in terms of like the atmosphere, and you probably it's quite intense, because here we're like, there are some jokes in between, and we have a good time here besides some of the adrenaline. But I'm not, probably this doesn't happen to your students, like people, or do you have people who come in and they just can't click in and take it seriously?
Sometimes, but not often. I don't see that as much as the opposite, where you kind of got to reel people in and kind of like calm them down with the amount of force that they're using. Not too often do people not take it seriously or have an element of their own personal safety as a concern. So I think it does happen once in a while. And when it does, the way that I kind of approach it is I'll put them in positions where there is no outlet. Like they will have to go hands-on. And once they're in that position, you'll see it's either, as we all have heard before, the fight or flight will kick in. And if they have no outlet and they're forced to go hands-on, people will. Now, how they deal with that, it all varies. But yeah, there's ways around it for sure.
Jeff, what was your impression when you saw Ranton just saying hello to everyone and giggling in between? What was your first thought?
I just thought he was clowning around. I didn't realize he was oblivious to the fact that he was in the scenario. So I just thought he was being a clown and didn't think much of it, to be honest. And until I heard the giggling, till I heard the incessant giggling, he's underneath people getting punched and he's giggling the whole time. And then, yeah, I've seen people react like that. Not too many, but one or two over the years. And yeah, some people, it's just their response. We respond differently, and Ranton's was giggling.
Yeah, I think sometimes it could be a coping mechanism. Like that's the way they deal with a stressful or an uncomfortable position.
And Randy, one more thing, because your time is running out, so we'll let you go soon. But we have Nathan here, who is, well, it's official. He won the championship, and he's planning to come back to defend the belt in season 3. Any thoughts about Nathan? Because you're going to meet him, and he's going to be your competitor.
I'm looking forward to meeting him, and looking forward to dusting it up with him a little bit. Like he seems like a fun dude, like a really easygoing dude, but also a weapon. Like he can definitely handle himself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with that guy.
Nice, cool. I feel a little bit of, I hear a little bit of Jeff Chan in you as well, where some of the other contestants are like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna have to fight Natan," and Jeff was like, "I want to fight Natan longer.
Yes.
Can we make the round longer? Can we fight again?" I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah.
this guy is built differently." I mean, they both were, so
Yeah.
it's really cool. You also,
I'm a super competitive dude. If you and I are gonna have a jelly bean eating contest, I want to win it. Like I am a very competitive dude. So no matter who you guys put me up against, I'm gonna give her for sure.
nice. It's gonna be amazing. Looking forward to it. Well, cool. So Randy, shall we let you go to make sure you're not late to the appointment?
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm glad
Cool.
we were able to connect and say hi. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, keep doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome, the amount of work that you guys put into it, and also pat the role players on the back for me, because that is not an easy job, man. Those guys are putting in the grind session after session. So, and without the good role players, you wouldn't even be able to do this stuff.
100%.
See,
Yeah,
100%.
and that's also kudos to Jeff Phillips who trains them. So it's a full on happy moment. Thank you so much, everyone.
Right on.
So cool. Thank you very much, Randy. Looking forward to keep continuing
Likewise.
the
We'll
whole
be in
thing.
touch, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Randy.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so where are we? We are with Jesse. So what were your impressions about Jesse, Jeff?
I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with him, but he was great. Like the time I did spend with him, very professional, came in, did what he had to do. How he was on camera was a little bit different. Like I saw both sides of him, and yeah, it was good. Just a professional would come in, cameras on, bang, he'd go to work, and then you'd see him relax straight after. Like he yeah, nice guy, and more talented than I thought.
That's what I was about to ask. Were you surprised by? And by the way, I'll see if to make this more interesting for everyone. Randy was a little bit low on his microphone. I'll try to keep the sound on here. Can you hear me well, Jeff, or would you prefer I
Yep.
turn off the sound?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you well. Yep.
Okay, everyone in the comment section, let us know if it's too much having to both the original sound of the video and us talking. I can turn it off, but I'll keep it here so everyone hears what's happening. So that was about what was I about to ask you, Jeff. So you were surprised, a little bit surprised about, because karate black belt, they come in various shapes and forms. Was it a little surprising to you, to the level of ability that Jesse showed in the championship? Yeah.
Well, when I've seen Jesse online, he doesn't take himself too seriously. I think I think he's, certain people will put themselves on a pedestal and things like that, and Jesse's never done that. It's almost like he's been a little bit self-depreciating, calling himself the karate nerd and whatnot. And then when he came out, just how sharp he was and how well he moved, I was blown away. Like he's more than what he says he is. Definitely. He was very talented.
Yeah, I agree. I like that quality in people, and sometimes I feel like I prefer that type of action as well, where it's like better take yourself not seriously enough, but be better than the way you take yourself, versus like take yourself way too seriously and then turn out you don't know nothing, because that's more often the case than the other way around.
Yeah.
So I think Jesse's great in that way.
Yeah.
Also, can you tell everyone a little bit more about this challenge and how you designed it and what went into it?
It kind of was based on a computer game. So one of those old school computer games where you walk into a big room and there's like a question mark over in something and you have to go over and address what's there. That's where it came from. And it was trying to be more time efficient in terms of scenarios and things like that. Because as you know, last time there was a lot of waiting around and things like that. And there always is. So this time we just thought we'll just do all 4 scenarios in a row, just bang, 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 one after the other. And I thought too, this would just provide great action. Like the good old bar fight's probably the most common scenario that people will do. I normally like to do things not as common as, not the common things, but this time I just thought, what, let's do it. And I think setting up the place to look the way it did was great. The props we had, it all added to it. It turned out really well. I was happy with the way it went. Apart from that broken stick, that pull stick that broke before it made contact.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I didn't even notice it. It was more Ranton noticing it and then pointing it out. But I found it was funny enough, I think, to to see it happening, because something is always going to happen. Something has to happen, not the way it's supposed to. So I
Yeah,
don't think that was a big issue. It happens
that
in
was
movies too, I'm sure. Yeah.
that was pretty much the whole series, wasn't it? And we probably saw then as well. One of the issues that went, you could see a bottle of water tipped over and went all over the floor, so we had to pause the filming and mop that up. And there's always
Yeah.
little things like that happen. And this time seemed to have a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the bigger the production, I'm sure the more issues happen. And any thoughts about Jordan's performance here, as now it's wrapping up?
Yeah, I just think that's the one thing that a lot of schools miss, is that the situational awareness and the soft skills training. And it was clear that Jordan's just focused on the physical with all his training, just in terms of positioning and things like that, and turning his back on attackers. And that's a really big part. And that's the thing. If MMA fighters can get their head around that, then they're very formidable, and they're a big problem.
Yeah, that was a big lesson for me when I was transitioning from Aikido to everything else, like stuff that works, combat sports, self defense, and I was looking for answers. And I had this conversation with this self defense instructor, Paul Sharp, who's like a former SWAT cop and like just a total badass. And he said to me the same thing that you just said, that like, because a lot of people, I think traditionalists or purists, they like to say like, oh, these MMA people wouldn't stand a chance in reality because they don't train for it. And I asked Paul, I was like, is this true or not? And then he said, well, they miss some things, but then if they spend it, like, you can't train a person in a weekend to become a good MMA fighter or to become a good fighter. That's impossible. But if
Yep.
you take a trained MMA person in a weekend, you can fill in a lot of gaps that they're
Yeah.
missing in their self defense game, and they're gonna be like total beasts. Like, I mean, you never know everything, but then would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, because of all the reps people get up in MMA, the amount of strikes and the live action and things, it just sets you above people who don't do that.
Yeah.
And a fight is physical, and if you're not training in a physical manner, then I'm not sure what you're doing. And
Yeah.
MMA ticks that box. But yeah, 100%. And it's funny that we're talking about such things when Craig's up, because Craig is almost I won't say he's the opposite, but he's
Yeah.
all about the soft skills and less about the physical for the most part with his training. But
Yeah. But he
he
did
stays
great. Like,
good.
but I mean, when you look at his fighting, it looks solid. Like
Yeah,
where do you
yeah.
think that comes from? I mean, you probably trained him some of that, right?
Yeah, so he says apart from, he did a little bit of BJJ, but he says the only training he's done is with me. But I mean, he grew up fighting. So where we live, particularly where Craig did, I was in the nicer part of town than Craig grew up. But even in where I was from, we were in fights constantly. You had to fight. Being a male, you had to be able to fight. Like, it's a totally different world. And I think Craig was in a bit of a rougher world than what I was, and his circle of friends were not as nice as mine. So it led him down to some paths where he had to be able to fight. So a lot of this is through training, but then a lot is just Craig.
This is a hypothetical question, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it. Because so you have Craig, who's seems like most of his skills, I mean, a lot of them come from you, but in terms of fighting, it seems like a lot of it also comes just from actual fighting. And then we have, fighters who train in the conditional environment. Do you think there's a superiority in one or the other, or it depends?
Again, my answer to probably everything is it depends. But one thing about Craig is just the mental side of things also matched. So I've seen plenty of really good fighters over the years that just, get frozen by fear or anything like that. Craig's prepared to fight, and he's not a slouch. I know a lot of people will just say things like, oh, I see red and then I'm okay. That's not true at all. You need some skills to back it up. But, Craig was just prepared to fight, just with Natan, let's go 100, the right mental outlook. And yeah, he's probably, I think I did a video about his mental sort of approach to it, which is, he understands he's probably not going to win every fight, but he's going to let you know you were in a fight. And that's a big part of the battle too. So Yeah, the truth lies somewhere in between. I'll always say that too.
Yeah, and it was pretty clear probably soon after the filming of the challenge that he actually did the best.
Yeah, like when he was going through, I was a little bit taken aback by how well he did. Like I thought, like Craig, normally you give him 10 seconds and then he's going to get tired, but he pieced it together quite well this time. And considering that he had done no training, like in a very long time, like any physical training, it was pretty impressive. I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, I remember because again I was sick in the locked up and locked myself in the room, and so I just kept getting updates through phones. And I think you called me up and said, "Hey, actually, Craig did the best," and I was like, "What? What is happening?" And I believed you, obviously, because if you said it's the way, I was like, "Sure, of course," but I was like, "What?" I was like, and then I watched the video and I was editing, I was assessing everything and just going frame by frame, and I was like, yeah, that totally happened. So, and speaking of good people, we have one more great person here. We have Sensei Seth. Hello.
What's
Oh,
up?
Hey, good to
What's
see
up,
you.
you guys?
Hey,
are
how are
you?
you?
Good. I'm good. Hanging out.
Nice, cool. Thank you very much for finding the time to join us.
Let's go.
So we're right now in episode 2 of season 2. Craig just kicked ass. Any thoughts about Craig? Seth?
You could have said any episode and then said he kicked ass, and I would have been like, yeah, no, that makes sense. 100%.
Were you surprised as much as everyone else when Craig did so well when you were watching the show?
So I kind of believe that sometimes like the best capabilities for self-defense are just being able to not overthink about things.
Yeah.
And I think if there's somebody who would not overthink about things, it's Craig.
Yeah.
Like sometimes too much training is a problem.
Yep.
Like for me, sometimes the more I train, the more I'm like, I should have this, and then this technique needs this, and then, I think Craig was just like, nah, I'm gonna punch him.
It's true. The old saying, paralysis by analysis.
Yeah,
Where someone stands there and so many ideas go through their head, but just looking at that video, Craig more or less did the same thing over and over and over. So a simple plan got him out of trouble most of the time.
Yeah.
What you just described, Seth, also it actually inspired very, very much. And I don't think I even said this on record yet, but I remembered my first MMA fight. I was training for 6 months in the States, like every morning at like 6 a.m., like 2-3 hours. Then in the evening, I was just like burning myself out, and I was constantly tired. I didn't realize that I'm overtraining. It was too stupid to realize that. And by the end, when the fight came, I was kind of exhausted, overburned, and I did my best, but I lost, like, apparently in a controversial decision, but I didn't win. It was like not like a pure win. Right. And then I see Craig who did a similar program, 6 months of training for a boxing fight, didn't train whatsoever, didn't go to the gym. He just goes there after the self-defense championship, kicks ass, wins in like second round. And I was like, dude, I was supposed to, turns out if I would have just like trained less, drank more beer, I would have probably won. So I don't know if it's true, but
if you had thrown yourself to the wolves for the week ahead of time, like Natan, and like anybody you're gonna fight in that boxing match, it would have been like, it's no big deal. It'll be all right. It couldn't be worse,
True. And Seth, while we have you here, we won't keep you forever, so I just want to make sure we ask you a couple of questions. One is how was it for you to watch season 2? Given the fact that you were in season 1, how different was that experience for you just watching it?
So what's funny is that by the end of it, I was like, I was there. Like, because my brain can kind of fill in the gaps of what the time in between is like. And there's footage of them talking, and obviously I wasn't there. Yeah. But it felt like I was like, this seems, I remember this. I remember all of this.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, go
ahead. No, you're good.
Yeah. Would you have moments where we're like, I would have done this way, or like?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Especially the I really wanted to do the bar fight catastrophe breakup. I really wanted to do that one because it seems like nobody's hitting you, Nobody, like, you get to just walk around and be like, ooh, let me pick this guy up. Ooh, let me pick this guy up. And it seems stressful for sure. But that one's right up my alley. So I don't know if it's supposed to be happening in season 3, but
just putting it out there.
just throwing that out there.
And speaking of season 3, I'll just let wrong episode. This was not supposed to happen. Sorry. Speaking of season 3, so how do you feel about? I mean, first of all, I'm so excited you signed up. What are your thoughts and feelings about season 3?
I need to work on my striking a little bit, but I think I'm gonna have some different tools to bring to the table that I feel good about. I think I'll definitely be the biggest person there, which I mean I was last year, but this year I think I'm gonna use it a little bit more. I think I was striking a lot last season. I think I'm just gonna go for the smother. I think I'm gonna smash, squish. Yeah, I think that's the goal.
I remember how you dominated all of us in the bus. Like you just squeezed us in between chairs and just hit us, or just like screwed us to the other end of the bus. I was like, oh my gosh.
I think I want to find small corners a bunch and just like warp people into them. Like by the time I'm done, I want them to come out like as a corner shaped piece. I think that's the goal.
And do you think, because in season 1 you have trained sumo to some degree, but now you're way more into sumo, do you think that'll make a difference for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think season 1 I hadn't even done the first tournament yet. I don't think I'd even done nationals yet, because I remembered coming in second in season 1, spoilers, and then coming in second in nationals, and I was like, oh great. But
yeah, right.
But yes, so I mean, I think I'd had like 4 or 5 months of it under my belt. My takedowns are a lot better now. My kind of my ability to maneuver people is a lot better now. I'm definitely stronger 100%. So that I think
I'll
be
training.
Like,
the strength and conditioning training.
Yeah, I think I'll be a good 20 pounds heavier. I think I'm maybe a little bit slower in the striking department, but I got some time. I got some time to work on that part.
Any thoughts about season 3 contestants?
I mean, Natan is like, I was watching throughout the whole season and I was like, please let Jeff win. Please let Jeff win. Not because I don't think Jeff is scary, but because I know what Jeff feels like. Natan is out there throwing bombs. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Ideally, to calm everyone down, I can't spoil anything, yada yada. But then, ideally, like in season 2, the only time in season 1 we fought each other a bunch of times.
No, yeah, okay. So that's another thing. I want to fight him like a bunch of times. I want to win all those times, but like as much as I am afraid of what will happen, like I'd rather, if I beat him, I want it to be because I beat him. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to win and lose to him at some point, because of how the points stack up. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, he's definitely my number one
target,
concern. There's a lot of mixed feelings with him. No, I like him a lot. I think I'd been following him on Instagram since like 2019 or something crazy like that. He seems like a good dude. Obviously Kevin's gonna be there. Oh no, wait, I forgot about Gabe. Gabriel
yeah, I was like, why are you not mentioning Gabriel Varga?
So I've sparred with Gabriel Varga before, and he is like a technical monster. I don't know what his wrestling is like. I know that. So we sparred a few rounds. Or no. We sparred one round. I can't remember, but I remember thinking, if we spar multiple rounds, I'm gonna be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Because he starts kind of slow, and then he just doesn't stop. So I'm interested to see how he takes all this, because he is just kind of like Natan, you'll see joke and laugh and have fun, and Gabriel Varga does that, but like at the same time he's kind of like he kind of reminds me of the Russian guy from Rocky. So this will be interesting 100%. Kevin is going to be super fun the whole time. I think he'll do better than people expect. Who else do we have so far? We have.
Well, actually,
1, 2, 3,
speaking of badass people, we just had Nathan join the
Oh,
conversation.
Hey, what's
Been
up?
talking about him. What's up, man?
How's it going?
How you doing?
So, Seth, Nathan, have you ever spoken to each other before?
I don't.
On Instagram?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think in person. I was just telling
No,
you how
never.
I feel like I've been following you for like 4 years.
Same
And we-
thing. Yeah, I think since COVID.
Yeah, we've maybe messaged each other like twice, but I think I've interacted with your stuff on Instagram, like
Nice.
comments and stuff like that. But we've never spoken.
Yeah, same thing.
But this is the very first moment you're seeing each other on video.
Yep.
Uh,
Dude, you spoiled it, man. You were supposed to wait until the moment comes, and then you could have like been
Yeah, no,
filming
no.
it.
We're just gonna
show up. I was gonna show up to the fighter house in a full karate gi and shoes.
Oh yeah,
That's,
and then
that's
kick
what karate
around.
guys have to do, you know.
I know, and then don't worry, we'll still ask you to pretend you don't know each other and you never
Okay.
saw each other. We'll just script it. But seriously, though, it's great to have you both here. So Nathan, you probably missed Seth saying he's like already looking forward to having to fight against you. What are
Me
your-
too. I'm hyped.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So what were your thoughts, Nathan, when you learned that Seth is actually going to be part of season 3?
I mean, the guy's he's a unit, so I'm expecting a good fight, expecting a good competitor, and also some good time. He gave me some good laughs on season 1, so I think it's gonna be fun.
Do you have any thoughts about Seth being a sumo champion of the United States? Not to hype anyone up.
Has he been working on his armbar defense?
There you go.
It's not allowed.
roasting. We're
It's not
roasting
allowed.
already. Yeah, I forgot to say, season 3 there's no arm bars in the final fight. No, I'm
Dude,
joking,
I
I'm
actually
joking.
totally forgot about that. I have to like write that down somewhere.
Yeah, like train for arm bar defense, right?
I'm gonna look back at this in like 2 weeks and be like, why did I write that down?
But yeah, so Nathan,
Right where it
any thoughts about him having sumo background? Do you think that's going to be relevant? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's got to be relevant. I'll be ready, with my underhooks, ready to defend. Obviously, he's got great striking, so good grappling is not going to hurt now. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I never fought a sumo guy before.
Nice.
Fair.
Yeah, did I fight? I guess we fought each other, Seth, but I guess technically.
I mean,
fought a
fight,
sumo person.
compete, we're going to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
15 seconds. You don't have too much time to do anything. So one takedown is definitely worth a lot. Maybe things will change it this season. I don't know either. But, good competitor overall. I think we got a great lineup of competitors. It's going to be a big challenge.
Nice.
Natan,
And- Yeah, sorry.
I think I'm gonna do the opposite to you as what you did to Jordan. Is I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be just like touching you the whole time. I'm gonna be like, buddy. I'm just gonna be like very softly, like this is my full power. This is my full power. And then hopefully you'll be like, this last round with Seth, it's gonna be fun. And then,
Bro.
and then
It makes me think, honestly, last season, we did the last fights, right?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, maybe it's off topic, but it just came up in my head.
Good. Yeah.
And I was like, with Trenton, I was like, man, that's it. I got him. I don't need to do any extra damage. And now I look at it, I'm like, this is pretty close to a draw. Like, I didn't do enough. So, what do you think, Ruckus?
I think no, Jeff. I want to ask your opinion here too. But I think, when I edited it, I was like looking frame by frame and just like taking out everything. That was already post judging, but I wanted to make sure we were right. And it was clear you were dominating. It wasn't like you were like punishing him, but you were controlling him. You were moving him around, and you added that knee and maybe an elbow or something. It was clear like you did just the perfect right amount of like a few things which made you the winner. And that was enough. And I think that was the right call for you to not go harder. Like there was I don't think it was close. It was clear that you could have defeated him, but you stopped when it was enough. So I wasn't concerned. Jeff, what do you think?
No, Anton, I couldn't hurt anyway, even if I wanted to. But like this season, we got to go all out, man. There is no holding back.
You just got a confirmation that strategy did work. It did work.
Yeah, right. 100%. 100%. I'll just be feeble and in the corner. Not that Raton, not that Ranton was feeble and in the corner. I'm not saying that.
Jeff, any thoughts about that?
No, it was really good, and that's where you see the people that are very skilled. They can be controlled, and yeah, it was he did just enough to win. You could see he was holding back and could do a lot more, and Ranton was appreciative of it, as we all were, just because we don't want to see a bloodbath. I know a lot of viewers at home probably would.
I don't know. On the season that I'm not there, go ahead. Let's see it.
But sitting there as a judge, I'm just sitting there, like, even when you jumped up on the counter, I'm just like, my heart stops. I'm thinking, oh no, if he falls and lands on his head, I'm just sitting there tense the whole time. And afterwards, I don't mind about the bloodbath, but in the moment, geez, I tell you what, makes it hard.
It is.
Yeah, go ahead, Nathan.
Sorry, it is pretty dangerous. Like, he was trying to sweep my feet. Like, at the end, we got these helmets, but
yeah,
if you land on the floor with your head, like, it's not gonna help you. It's not a motorcycle helmet,
No.
So I can tell, like, me letting my students spar, I'm like, every time somebody lands a good strike, I'm like, hoping nobody dies. And to be like overviewing the show must be very stressful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then when Jesse was starting to kick your leg when you're on the counter, and his plan was to like, oh, I'm gonna sweep his leg. I'm like, why would you ever do this? We want everyone to be alive. I'm like, thank God that did not work out. It was very karate though. Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg. That's very true. What did the bus fight feel like for you, Tom? Was that like, did it feel like you expected it to?
Will they fight on the bus? Jeff?
Jeff.
Yep.
And
that fight was insane.
Was there anyone else? I think.
I don't know.
Did you? Was that the only? I guess that was the only fight because we were switching around fights. Jeff, do you remember? I think that was the only fight you had on a bus. That was Jeff, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think anyone doubled up because everyone. Yeah. There were 2 fights in each location because there were 5 people or something.
Well, you still did the
6 people. The 6 people, the way it worked out. Yeah.
The situations too, though, were still on the bus too. Did the moving bus feel different than you expected it to by the time you were like scrapping?
The situations I felt in a bus, whether it was like the sitting position, guys coming from behind you, the bus played a bigger factor. Fight, honestly, I didn't really feel I was even in a bus. We were just throwing punches. I was just dealing with like Jeff Chen being super fast,
dude. I watched that fight,
and I couldn't catch him right. And then I'm getting tagged. I'm like, but I didn't feel on the bus. It could have been on the mats or anywhere else.
That's sick. That's wild. Yeah, no, that bus fight was insane. I watched that frame by frame like a lot of times in a row to just be like,
yeah.
It felt like I was watching I don't know, some like like a movie fight where just these moments keep happening. You're like, it was pretty sick.
There was one difference because I'm thinking now how the fights were different in the bus season 1 and season 2. Actually, in season 1 we were given a bit of a harder hand because the bus was intentionally stopping, swirling. It was like in season 2 we thought, okay, you know what, we'll make it safer. It was driving, but it was like kind of like calm. So I think, like I'm glad we did that. But like I think there's that makes a difference as well when the bus is just going wild all the time, driven by some old lady. So
that lady was awesome. She was having a good time.
And since we're still all here, we're looking at actually Natan's Shank Tang. Seth, maybe your thoughts first. Any thoughts you had when you saw him performing here?
Oh, you mean when he spinning rear kicked?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Aaron's liver into somebody else's body. No, that was pretty good. That was. I don't think I ever thought to throw a spinning rear kick the whole time. Which is like
one. You did it. No, or wait,
spinning? I don't think I spun.
No, side kick.
I threw a lot of side kicks, but I didn't spin.
Okay.
And it was like the perfect time to do that. Is like when you're moving around the barricade. It was. I will admit that was pretty slick. The Ranton, I was super impressed with Ranton in the Shank Tank. I felt like he balled out.
What's crazy is I think the attitude you guys had going into it versus the attitude we had in season 1 of like season 1, we kind of thought a little bit more of like, okay, get control, work the knife, see if we can like pin him up somewhere, and it just didn't work. I tried to strike, but by the time I'd thrown my first strike, by this time I was ready to throw the second one, I was already trying to get control. And it seemed to make a big difference.
It gets tempting to like try and grab the knife.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, I'm going to strike. This seems to be the best strategy because, evidently. But then you see the opportunity and you're like the takedown you were talking, I think, earlier when I was watching.
Yeah.
Like something about you wants that control. You don't want to keep fighting. You don't want to keep it messy, getting punched. You're like, I can get a takedown and control. Same thing in an MMA fight. You're like, 30 seconds, that's on the clock. Let me get a takedown.
Yeah, right.
Control this dude and finish the round, get the round for sure.
Right.
So same thing, you're trying to control the knife, but usually it just ends up bad.
100%. Yeah.
Jeff, any professional thoughts here?
It's hard. Like, people have a lot of solutions, but in the heat of the moment, any one of them could work. Each situation is uniquely different. Some require you to try and isolate the knife hand. Some require you to strike, and that's one of the things that makes it so difficult. What's the right response in every situation? It's a read that you have to make in a hundredth of a second, and that's why it's so difficult. So, I don't think anyone has there's not a right or there's plenty of wrong answers, but it's not a one size fits all thing. You just have to take what's given and run with it and hope for the best. Because it's tough.
And
can I ask Natan,
go ahead.
when you were up against Alex and he was doing all that trash talking, what was going through your head? Like I sat there and I was a bit horrified. I'm thinking, don't be rude to our guests. That's my initial response.
Honestly, I didn't think that much of it. I was just it was just kind of funny. By the way, I think I won this round. Not to be
oh really? Which one?
Mr. Complainer, but I think I won this round.
Wait, we mean the one with Alex or the one with
Poop Guy?
Wait,
with
the
the
last
OG
one?
Poop Guy. OG Poop Guy.
Bro,
OG Poop Guy.
I'm controlling his elbow. What is this gonna do?
Let's agree to disagree. It's gonna get messy. Let's not get messy. But how was it, Nathan, for you to observe yourself later, just seeing the fights, like you performing in the Shang Tang so well? Were you like, did you look the way you expected yourself to look? Because I guess you're used to seeing yourself fight, or how
I always think I look terrible.
Really?
I always think, every time I see my elbow behind my back, I'm like, I'd hit myself with a stick if I could.
Yeah, it reminds me of all those boxing coaches, like, never let your guard down, and every single fight, everyone lets their hands down sooner or later.
Yeah.
Like Mayweather, everyone. Yeah.
True. I don't care that much about hands up.
Yeah.
Also, honestly, I didn't feel like, not that it should matter, but I didn't feel that much of a threat. I didn't see anybody's hands being so fast that I couldn't see them, so I had to glue my hands to my face.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And we're talking about a knife too, instead of just punching.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm very happy with some things I did, but a lot of the time watching myself, I just think I'm doing everything wrong and not good enough and not fast enough and kind of self-criticizing.
Seth, what about you? How was it for you it was season 1, but how was it seeing yourself perform in the championship?
I always felt like it never looked as cool as it felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I did something, I was like, man, that's going to look sick. I can't wait to see that. And then I'd watch it and was like, okay, all right. It's nowhere near as cool. There's a few moments where I was like, that's going to look insane. And then I watched it back, was like, dude, this is okay. But yeah, I was definitely, I watched all of my fights over and over again, slow motion, being like, why am I doing that? What is that? I think for Natan, you've got so much time in going full speed, full go. For more recreational guys like myself, most of the time that I spar, it's low stakes, it's low intensity, all things considered. So seeing that deterioration a little bit in technique was very interesting. So I might have to try and whoop some guys before the next one just to feel a little bit better about it.
Got to spar hard sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
important. People always like to say, don't spar hard, keep your brain for the fight.
Yeah.
True. But if you never spar hard, then you're not conditioned for it in
Super
any
true.
way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think there's ways to spar hard, and I don't know. I think it's the people who spar hard like every single day is who they're
No,
talking
that's not
about.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think people get mixed up where they're like spar hard one time, maybe a week, and then do it smartly versus spar hard every single day. They just lump it all in together with sparring hard.
Yeah, and also some people will tell you, well, Max Holloway doesn't spar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when you'll have 7 title defenses in the UFC,
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
stop sparring too.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like Thai fighters. How
Yeah,
they have so many fights that are essentially
they don't
just
spar hard. Yeah,
hard
because they fight
spars.
every weekend.
Right.
They fight every weekend, so that's their sparring.
Yeah. I don't fight every weekend, so I need to get in there.
Should start.
Speaking of which,
Time
Seth,
to get on it, Seth.
Yes, sir.
Do
Yes, sir.
you think, Seth, you'll be preparing? Because again, season 1 we came in, I knew some ideas what's going to happen, but I didn't have a lot of information, just to make it fair. So essentially, all of us, we came in, blind, especially
Yeah.
you guys. So now you've been in season 1, you've seen season 2. Are you planning to work on specific things, or is it more general training? And then, because obviously there's going to be surprises involved. So what's your approach to season 3?
Probably more general training. I think I'd be dumb not to do some sort of like knife defense drilling, just like in jiu-jitsu, hand somebody a knife and be like, hey, do me a favor real quick. Just like stab me a bunch for this round, if that's okay with you. And then maybe work on it from there. But I mean, probably the most part, I'll just be doing the training that I do anyway. I might do some specific training, but I think that's kind of not the purpose of this experiment. I think the purpose of this experiment is to come in with what you have and then put it against what other people have, rather than like mindset wise. I feel like I know much more, like, the nuances, the metas. But as far as training goes, I'll probably continue to do the stuff that I already do, the judo, the sumo. And then we'll see. We'll see. I might every now and then work on a little stab stuff, but yeah, nothing else.
Natan, what about you? Are you intending to do some special training?
The question is, are we representing martial arts? Are we representing ourselves?
That's fair. That's a fair question.
It could turn into MMA, where it was jiu-jitsu versus karate, and now everybody does MMA with different focus. We could all, contestants on USDC, become like MMA guys that also do Krav Maga.
Dude, I'm wearing
like
a
what
Mawashi.
everybody does.
I'm going to wear a
what everybody
Mawashi
does.
the whole time. I'm going to be in my full traditional sumo suit.
That's going to be in your contract, Seth. You're like,
Oh, no.
you have to wear a Mawashi
Oh, no,
all the time.
The chafing. Oh, no.
Including the sightseeing.
Sorry, Jeff?
Including the sightseeing. He has to wear it sightseeing as well.
Oh, no.
Right, yeah,
They asked us to do that one time. They asked us to to wear it and like to promote an event. They were like, hey, do you guys want to just like wear it and then just like walk around town? It'll be like a spectacle for people and they're going to wonder what's happening. I was like, no chance.
That was Poland?
I'm going to catch a charge. No, that wasn't Poland, luckily. Maybe in Poland I would have done it because there's like 4 people outside of the venue total. So it would have been totally fine. The cows would have been like, what is this guy doing? But other than that, no.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. Well, a lot of people are requesting. They're like, make Seth wear the Mawashi all the time. Obviously, we're not going to do that. But one time, maybe. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And any thoughts about Craig since he's on the frame right now? Anyone? Any comments of what's happening here?
I mean, like there's things you can point at and be like, this is technically wrong. But then it ends and you're like, well, I mean, it worked out pretty well. It almost like if he had trained more, would he have done worse? Would he have done better? If he had more, like this is obviously not a good position. That he probably got there because there were some things that went wrong. But for the most part, like he was doing well. So like, what do you say to him? It's like that guy who comes in, it's naturally skilled, and you're like, Well, it's not how you should throw that, but you're doing pretty good. I'm just gonna let you be.
I will jump in actually, and because we have one more person, and it's actually Ranton.
Oh,
Yo,
what's up?
Hey, can you guys hear
This
me?
is a full
Yeah.
party. Yeah.
What's up?
Welcome.
What's up?
Welcome.
I'm
How are you
here.
doing?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
King of self-defense.
Yes, the self-defense king. How's it going, everyone?
Good. Hanging out.
Yeah, Seth
Nice.
and Nathan, they're sizing each other up before season 3.
Yeah, what
let's
do I
go.
need to know, Ranton?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Get him, Nathan. Go get him.
And we were
hey,
actually
Anton
having-
chose a side. That's it.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, he
I'm
just
gonna
picked
be
a
a ref.
favorite right off the
I'm gonna
bat.
be a ref. I'm gonna be a ref.
He wasn't even like kind of secretive about it.
Good luck to both men, but Nathan kick his ass.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
But maybe more luck to one of you.
Exactly. Wait,
Seth was already saying that he had a strategy to become best friends with Nathan so he wouldn't punish him. And you did that.
yeah, that was my strength.
There you go. It's like it's
That was my
already
strength
like
from day one.
it was already used. That card was used. It cannot be used again.
It's like when they tell you when you go to prison, look at the toughest guy and befriend him. That's what I did. That was
no,
my
they say
strategy.
punch him. They say punch the guy.
No, they say punch the weakest looking guy, but there was nobody weak around.
Ranton goes in. I kept getting punched.
Why did I want to punch me?
My strategy
so
worked.
before I turn on episode 4 and we can maybe talk a little bit about it, just wanted to make sure everyone's good on time. Seth, you've been here for a while. Do you still want to hang out, or do you need to go soon?
I got
He's basically
5
telling you
minutes.
fuck off.
5 minutes. Yeah,
Same thing.
I was like, we're
Yeah,
too many.
right.
There's too many people. How do I politely say? Sorry, no, I'm honest.
Ranton,
I
who
just-
do you think should go? Seth? Okay.
I'll go back to bed.
I think Nathan is on the other side of the planet. He can't hurt me anymore. He can't hurt me anymore. Nathan should leave. Get out of here. Nah, I don't know. Who's been here the longest? Rokas.
No,
Okay.
I'm not kicking. I'm not kicking
Rokas
anyone
has got to
out.
go.
Okay.
Get that
No,
Rokas guy out of
okay,
here.
that's
No,
it.
I was trying.
I gotta
to
go
be
in 5.
nice. No, I was trying to be nice, and it's falling apart now. Jeff, I think it would be a good opportunity for you. Let's do it not now. After Seth and Nathan leave in 5 minutes, we can briefly talk about your project coming up. And
Yeah,
then
sure.
Let's just enjoy the 5 minutes we have all together. So I'll just put on the male strippers episode, and we can just.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
6 martial arts expert. Sorry. This is
this one.
yeah, male strippers. So Seth, first of all, what was your impression of the challenge, seeing it as a?
I would have demolished this one.
Yeah.
100%. This is maybe the only one I would have felt confident about was this one.
What was even the goal? Like, I still don't understand what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Have fun.
What would you have done, Seth?
I
What would
did
you
not
done?
have fun, so that's why I lost.
I'm picking up a guy in each arm and I'm just walking around like this. And then I'm front kicking anybody else. Just a guy in each arm and then front kick. And then when poop guy comes, I'm smothering poop guy and the other 2 guys. And then I'm just going to kind of like rub them together. Honestly, poop guy was the best self-defense there was this whole time. He had the best self-defense. And honestly, I don't know if I want to give away any strategies. It made me think I might go with the naked trick at some point.
Oh snap! You know, I will actually tell you about a trick that now no one can use it because I will have said it. I met Ranton the day before the championship. We had a nice lunch, and Ranton said, "Can I poison everyone's food with like laxatives at the house?" and then I win the championship. I was like,
That's
"That's
not
a brilliant
self-defense.
idea."
And
It's
it
a
would have worked
brilliant
because my
idea.
wife was there too. So I could have distracted people. You know, she puts itchy powder on people's rash guards. You know.
Oh,
It would have
wrong with
totally
you?
worked, but I was like,
It would have.
No, please don't do it. You just won in my eyes. You're the winner now. Just please don't do it. But yeah, Seth, you have your own tricks up your sleeve too, right?
yeah, dude. I'm just going to get naked for a fight.
And oil yourself up.
You're going to have to
Bring
you're
it.
gonna do it for mine.
What if your strategy won't work if the
Can't
other guy
wait.
gets naked too?
If the other guy gets naked too, I mean, then it was meant to
Then
be.
it's just gonna be kind of
Either
Gonna get demonetized for sure.
That's
Actually-
consent.
I'll tell you all guys.
Pay money for it to stop.
I'll actually tell you all guys a fun story. I don't think I've said it on record yet. So Gabby's, you all know Gabby, my wife, her friend texted her one morning. She's like, "Oh my God, I was up until like 4 a.m." And we're like, what did you do? Turns out she turned on the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship Season 2, Episode 1 at like 12 a.m. or something. And she's like, I'm going to check what Gabby and her husband is doing. And then she got hooked on the series, watched the whole second season, watched the whole first season, which was great. I'm loving the story so far. But her comment about the show was like, it's so hot. It's so hot. They're all so hot. I just love it. I want more. I'm like, whoa! I did not know that we have an audience for that type of viewers. So guys, if you want to get naked, I will not. It's like we'll just have more. We'll have more female viewers. So it's all
Just
good.
keep the bow tie on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
put
the
on
bow
some
tie.
ties,
Bump that
mawashi.
number up to 2% female viewership.
Let's go.
And Ranton, now I want to put you on the spot a little bit. So you were not watching the show for a while, right? Can you tell about that? Like,
No, it's no big deal. It's just I have a weird thing. I can't watch myself. I can't even watch my own videos. I just don't like to see anything that I'm in. That's why. I tried to. No, we watched it live.
we watched it. We watched two episodes together, right?
We watched. Yeah. That was the first time I saw it.
And that was it. That was the end of it, right?
That was. I think at this point I have watched every episode. Because
Okay,
I made the video about it, right? I made a video about it, so there I had to go through everything, and
True. But but we were talking before you came up that the Shang Tank was epic. The transformation. I just wanted to put you on the spot again and just say that was awesome.
Epic transformation. Let's go.
Nathan, how was it for you to see that when it was happening in real life?
Man, I was super proud of him. Anton's a beast. He's got really crazy skills, crazy athletics. All his Shaolins, like everything he learned there, how to control his body.
The big problem.
That's something I envy for sure.
I couldn't defend the knife attackers beforehand. That was my problem.
Yeah, but then when you put your focus into destroying, then you did.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
By the way, I was thinking because the night before, like I was literally in bed, like tomorrow, please punch tomorrow, please punch tomorrow. And I'm thinking, dude, this is something. It's such a funny little anecdote that I remember. Nathan, do you remember which was the night when we woke up like at 3 a.m. or 2:30 a.m.?
I don't know this story. What's happening here?
And it was hot as it was hot as fuck.
I was hot as fuck.
Dude,
Okay.
so the house, something with the thermostat or whatever, is so broken. First night we were like all freezing our ass off, and then Nathan and I were like, okay, for this night let's crank that up a bit. And then for some weird reason, I don't know how this is possible. It's a sign from God. Nathan and I, we woke up at the exact same time at night. We both opened the door at the same time. Like, what is going on in this house? And we were both like drenched in sweat. It was wild.
At the same time, Jesse was closing the door because he turned up the thermostat.
Yeah,
he was like
sabotaging our house. Yeah, true.
Well, guys, I'm looking at the clock. I want to be very precise about this. I promised to let Seth and Nathan go, but just last summary before we leave. So, Ranton, you're still here. What are your thoughts about Nathan and Seth going against each other in season 3? They're both right.
I mean, I might be there seeing it live, right? So,
True.
Who knows? I might be there checking out. So it's going to be difficult. Who am I going to be rooting for? I don't know.
What do you mean it's going to be difficult? Who are you going to be rooting for? You made your alliances very known.
This is very difficult. Fuck. I don't know. I think. Who weighs more?
Seth, obviously. I bet. I mean,
I don't know. I've never met Seth in person. Maybe he's like 5'2".
I think if I was 5'2", I would still weigh more.
Maybe you're like a dwarf. Yeah. It's impossible to say. I can't wait to see it though.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
How often, Natan? How often do you spar with heavyweights?
With heavyweights?
Yeah.
Never.
Ooh.
I don't think it's going to matter, to be honest, but
time to gain even more weight.
Yeah, super heavyweight. I'm going to come in at 305.
You way, bro.
We'll come in like Boogie 2988.
Seth, I'll have to buy you 2 seats on the plane, I think.
Dude,
Oh,
the person. Never mind. I'm not gonna say about. I had a flight on the way there. That maybe somebody would have needed an extra seat next to me. It was unfortunate to have two larger people right next to each other, but you know.
yeah.
Well, final thoughts, Seth, Nathan, before we let you go.
I'm excited. I'm super hyped. I'm ready to go.
Very
I think it's going to be more fun than anything. I'm really excited because I think it'll be just a good time. But also, I think like the nature of it is it'll be competitive, but I think more than how competitive it will be, like both of us want to win, obviously. I think it'll just be cool. I'm excited to hang out.
Nathan?
Yeah, same thing. I'm hyped. And I want to win. I think I'm not going to pull the Jeff Chen and just come to entertain. I'm still coming to win. I'd love to entertain, but for me, first thing is winning. You got to win today, look good tomorrow.
Dude, I will let you know. I will 100% cry if you beat me. I just want you to know that. So, like, I don't know if you feel bad about things afterwards, but yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
I feel bad, but I still do them.
Okay, fair.
And yeah, man, can't wait. I think it's going to be a good time. Last season was really fun. You know, Anton, no secret there. Like, you know, we became good friends during the season. And I got there in Australia. And I started like almost panicking. I was like, oh man, I'm going to be here for a week. I don't know anybody. What am I going to do? You know, is it going to be boring? Is it going to be this, that? And then like first day, like I got to know Anton. I was like, you know, then I didn't even think about it again. Yeah. Like it was just fun the whole week. And of course with the other guys too. Yeah. But that was cool. So I'm sure this season is going to be fun as well and very competitive. And also we're going to learn from the last seasons and come back even stronger.
Very cool. Ranton, shall we make official your involvement in season 3?
It's not up to me. It's up to you. You're the boss. Oh! You're the boss.
Yeah. No, let's put it on record. So Ranton actually is intending to get involved in helping with the organizing. So he's not gonna beat your ass, but you'll probably meet him.
That's not gonna happen anyways.
But it's very, very likely that Ranton's gonna be around in season 3 as well. So very exciting.
So the intention right now is that I'll be basically an extra set of hands behind the camera. So I'll bring my camera, film more footage. It's always good to have more footage than less footage. So I'll be filming, and yeah, that's my intention. It's gonna be
awesome. It's gonna be a full house.
That's great.
Cool. It's gonna be good. Bro, I can't wait. All of us hanging out. It's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay, Seth, Nathan, so we let you go. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
See y'all.
Good one. See ya.
Ranton, do you still have a few minutes to hang out before we let you go? Sure. I won't keep you for long. I know that.
I'm just chilling here.
Yeah, I know you're very busy. You want to tell about your big project right now?
No, it's not really a big project. I'm just basically
torturing It's super myself. Big.
I'm torturing myself by doing daily uploads right now on my second channel, and I'm dying inside. So I'm tired as fuck. But it's going good. It's exciting. It's fun.
It's amazing. You're uploading a new video, like highly edited, very creative, every single day. Like,
yeah, I'm becoming the Chinese. I'm the Chinese PewDiePie, bro. Call me.
It's amazing.
Chinesey Pie. That's me.
It's amazing. People should all people should go and check you out. It's Ran.
Yeah, Ran, but right? It's not on the main channel. It's not on the main channel.
Yeah, no, it's Ran 2. I'm typing
Ran 2, Ran and then 2, like Hawk 2.
I'm posting it now on the channel, like chat. So, any thoughts, Ranton, about seeing the other guys competing now? Any memories from the bouncer thing?
No, not really. I mean, it was awesome. It was all fun.
Were you stressed about going?
Wait, was this the day? Yeah. Was this? I'm trying to. Sometimes when I think back to the event, it's like all becoming a big blur. But was this the day when we were? What did we do before this? Was this when the alarm was?
No, I mean Thursday before you went sightseeing, I believe. No, was that it? Or Jeff, do you remember?
Was this the day?
But actually, wait, that was the alarm. I think.
No, the alarm.
That was the day.
The alarm was the court tape.
Same day. The court was
Because
right
for some
after
reason I
the
feel like didn't
bunkers.
we film this in the evening, late in the evening?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And then
Right.
we went to the court, and that was even more later. And
What, the
everyone's
court
like-
was the same day?
Yeah, right after.
Okay,
right
so
after
then that was the day with the alarm then. That was the day with the alarm, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good day. Good memories.
Long day, yeah.
Yeah. Were you stressed
wild.
going into this challenge, Brandon? Like just going in through the door?
What do you mean by stressed? I mean, it's.
I mean, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Kind of feeling, or were you like, this is gonna be fun?
It's gonna be fun. It's like excitement. I would say it's excitement. Because when I know it's not gonna be fighting, then I'll be like, oh, let's just have fun.
You were.
Yeah.
Did we tell? I guess, Jeff, we did tell there's not gonna be fighting, right?
Jesus.
Was that? Did we lose Jeff? Is he frozen? Yeah, we lost Jeff a little.
Because we didn't have gear on, so I guess that's why we knew like we're not gonna get punched hard.
Yeah. You were very smart. Even in the second episode, the bar scenario, you figured out and you said on record that you realized that since there's no helmets, there were no intentions to fight unless you're Jeff Chan and you hit someone in the jaw, even when they were not helmet. They were like, "Oh my god, he was not supposed to do that." So, but yeah, good times.
That's crazy.
Still, I mean, you're not in the frame now, but still weird seeing yourself.
It's not weird seeing myself. I just legit don't like it. I just really don't like it. I don't like to see myself on screen. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not my vibe.
Yeah.
But at this point, I've gotten used to it. I got used to it. Like I've watched the episode so many times at this point by editing the video. So I think now it's okay. He was one of the. Oh, that's the chord. Oh my god.
Any memories from there?
Can you believe they found me guilty? I should be in the wheelchair.
Honestly,
If there was no gear in that scenario, I would be in the wheelchair.
Honestly, until you said it, because I think you said this when we were hanging out, and that like long time after the show was filmed, it was already released, and we were hanging out, and I think we were watching the court or something, and you said that, and I was like, wait a second. You're absolutely right. You were the last person that was supposed to be taken as guilty in it, and you were.
Oh god!
It's like
they found me guilty because
the justice system is corrupt.
So corrupt. And Jesse had like how long was he there? Like 40 minutes? He was there for a long time.
Yeah, I was like he had the whole full procedure, which was like ideally we would all have this full experience, but it was just like it was just took too long.
I think by the time it was my turn, the judge already went home.
Yeah, she had enough early. I could tell.
You got the most correct, justified.
Yeah,
court.
the justice
no
is
judge.
so evil.
Judge went home. Everyone's tired. Nobody cares. He's guilty. There we go. That's it.
By the way, I'm a monk. Is it a fact that you're a monk? Let's not get caught up in this.
that was great.
That was fun.
Yeah, you did great. I mean,
look at this.
You were
guilty.
I don't know how that happened.
Oh man,
being a YouTube star gamer is dangerous.
Bro, Jeff looks so good with that purple and the purple tie thing.
Yeah, he should wear it to parties.
Yeah.
I don't know why he looks like that because I didn't throw any punches. I just controlled him from.
It's so weird because Jordan got injured. I feel like he didn't have a lot of screen presence sort of during the show, unfortunately, because he got injured. You know what I mean?
Especially at the final episodes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the second, I would say, the last third of the show is like you don't see him a lot anymore.
Yeah.
Was he part of the zombie challenge?
Yeah, he was part of the zombies. He was in the zombies. Because that was filmed on Wednesday, I believe, and the injury happened on Thursday. So a lot of people were like, "Hey, how come is Jordan running around with his broken leg?" Or it was broken.
Yeah. Then I forgot about that. I thought we filmed it in the middle of the week, the zombie episode.
Wednesday, I think, and Thursday was.
Are you sure? Wasn't it on the last day?
No, not. It was definitely not. It was like that's the way we structured it with Jeff. That the zombies is in between, so you guys would have like a chance to have fun and kind of just loosen up. So, yeah. Well, Rantan, I know you're busy,
awesome.
So we'll let you go soon. But
thank you.
Final thoughts, and also Season 3. What can you say about what are your feelings about season
Yo,
3?
okay, listen. Do you know what a Sigma edit is, Rockers?
Is that like a fancy camera gadget?
You don't know what a Sigma edit is, bro?
No, I
don't know. Okay,
suck.
okay. I'm gonna send you what a Sigma edit is. Listen, for season 3, you have to let me do Sigma edits of all the contestants. Okay? It's like
What
a
is
way to edit.
Sigma?
It's like a way to edit a video. It's really cringe, but I like it.
Cringe. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's
looking
cool.
Sigma male compilation.
It's good to build up
edit.
hype. Yeah, yeah. Look for. It's good. I'm gonna send you one.
Yes, please do. So we have plans already. Great, awesome. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna do some epic stuff. I can't wait to be part of season 3. It's gonna be good.
Oh no! What am I getting myself into? You're gonna make
It's good,
edits
bro. It's gonna be good
everywhere.
promotional material.
I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward. Thank you so much.
No worries, bro.
Looking
Wait a
forward to
second. I'm
having-
seeing on the top right. Is that already the sort of contestants season 3?
Yeah, let me turn off the episode and
Sheesh.
yeah, the guy on the right is like a no one because that spot is not filled yet. But there's Kevin Lee, Vilus, the Kudo champion, Gabriel Varga, the 6 times world champion of kickboxing, then Sumo Seth, the champion of sumo of the United States, Nathan, and then Randy Turner, the special forces assaulter who actually went to war zones and actually like did like legit stuff, and also an MMA
Careful that
champion.
he doesn't get like a Vietnam flashback during a challenge.
I know, it's like we need to make sure he doesn't.
somebody.
Yeah, it's like wakes up in the middle of the night. You know,
Yeah, he's like-
you wake up and it's like he's like with a knife next to you.
Exactly. Sheesh, dude. Maybe somebody grabs him in a certain way that he got grabbed. The way in the way he got grabbed by like a Viet Cong, and it triggers it triggers something, and he's like boom, stabs and pokes his eye out or something.
Thank you. You're making this you're making me very optimistic about season 3.
Okay, guys, that was
Cool.
awesome. Thank you for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
all right?
Thank you so much for joining. Have fun with making incredible content.
Yes, I will try. Let's see how long I can do daily uploads. Let's see. Okay.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. They're awesome, but please take care of
Thank you.
yourself. Don't overdo
Thank you,
it.
bro. Yeah, I will. Have a good one, guys. See you, Jeff. It was good seeing you too.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So Jeff, it's 5 a.m. 6 almost. No,
5:46 now. Yeah.
damn, that's very early. So we'll let you go as well. There's only 2 episodes left, so I'll get through it. Maybe some other contestants may also still join. But
Yeah,
so
can we-
before I let
Before I
let
go.
you go, I thought we can introduce a little bit about the project, the spin-off project. Do you want to start and then I'll add to it?
Yeah, so basically where this came about is, I guess, Craig's popularity. That, there are a lot of people who could add a lot. And I just think, people are consistently asking, how can I get in the show? How can I get in the show? And so there's some pretty interesting people and people that we haven't sort of style of person that we'd be after. And so what we're doing is seeking out these people, running a side event, which is like a contender series. We are looking at changing the name of that. So if anyone has any suggestions, that would be great. So it's a contender series where the winner of the contender series gets the last place in season 3. So in January, I know it's not a lot of time. We've put together a really good team to get this done. And yeah, we're looking for contestants. We've got about 6 at the moment. We'd like to have a few more. And the winner of our season, which will get the last spot. So it'd be interesting to see who makes it through. So if you don't have that big social media following, here's your chance.
Yeah. So I'll add to it as well. We'll probably have to keep clarifying this because I think people will be like asking like, okay, so what's happening? But to kind of explain it in a simple way. So Jeff and I will be doing separate, like related but separate shows. So the line of what started the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship, the season 3 is going to continue on my end, and I'm going to film it here in Lithuania. Meanwhile, Jeff, you're actually going to do it even prior to me filming the first season in Australia. Jeff is going to film what essentially we call the spin-off show, like a related but a separate show. We're still looking for, as you said, like we're still looking for a good name, which is related, it's different enough so people would have a better sense of understanding the differences. But essentially, yeah, same concept. Challenges came originally from you anyway, so obviously similar challenges. But the big difference is, as Jeff just explained, in the main line of the seasons, initially I'm looking for people with big social media presence, and yeah, so that's kind of an important criteria. But what Jeff just said, that naturally excludes a lot of people, but there's great people such as Craig. And so if there's people interested who don't have that social media presence and you want to be on the show in one way or another, then Jeff, where should they go to find out more information and apply?
Yeah, so if you just go to usdc.net.au, and I know some people have been having problems, or you can go to my YouTube channel and I can direct you from there. And so we are sort of very specific about who we're allowing through. So there is a stringent screening process just to ensure we get the right people. Get people, first of all, who, bring something to the table, something different, as well as that they're controlled. So we don't want someone that's going to go in and try and hurt people, that kind of thing. And if you sort of fit that mold, if you think you've got something to offer and you could compete with those guys, then by all means, go to my YouTube channel or even my Western Combatives website and reach out to us. There's a lot of information there about what we're looking for and what you need to do. So the first thing is just to send an expression of interest, and we'll have a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting and see what you like. Do an interview. If we like what we see, then we'll encourage you to put together an audition tape so that, you show everyone what you bring to the table. Because it's all well and good for me to get on Facebook and YouTube and look at various things. But, being a fan of the show Ninja Warrior, the actual audition tapes are better than the show. And I think, I'd be really interested to see what people come up with, just like the creative ways people did the scroll. It'd be good for people to do their own introduction and tell the story of who they are. And then our first episode is done with all the audition tapes and a bit of editing and things like that. And we go from there. But we're stringent screening process just to make sure we get the right people who are physically and mentally capable of performing it. It's exciting news. I'm really excited to see. We've got some awesome challenges. Like I've had to find a new venue because we are evicted now, so we are out. So pretty much the day that I get out is, I think, the 1st of January. We start filming on about the 5th. So it's like from one to the next. And Craig will be part of it. There's a bunch of people that will be part of it as well. Like, we've got a really good team together. So if that suits you, by all means, apply. Like, happy to see what you can do.
Cool. And very quick couple questions from the audience before you leave. So you mentioned that, but somebody's asking, you have a YouTube channel. How do they find your YouTube channel?
Jeff Phillips Self-Defense, I believe it's called.
Yeah, so. Cool. And that's kind of a clarification question, but yes, so the plan is that whoever wins the Contender series from Jeff Phillips, they get to become the 8th contestant for season 3. So very exciting stuff. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for taking the sacrifice and sacrificing your morning sleep. But please make sure you rest. And we'll keep updating the people. And just to give a heads up to everyone, we're not finishing yet. There's 2 more episodes to watch. I'll continue doing a one-man show and turn on episode 5 and give you some insider behind the scenes stories. We still may have some participants joining us, but we'll see if that happens. And also, I will please add some questions if you want to the chat while I'll be watching the next episodes. I can also answer some of your audience questions in the meantime. But yeah, so that's for the audience. But Jeff, thanks so much. And
thank you. Speak soon.
Till next things.
Thanks. See you.
Go. Bye. Okay, let's go. With 6 martial arts experts in self-defense championship season 2 episode 5, the bus scenarios. So again, just to give you a heads up, if you want to ask some questions about the show, about future seasons, now is a great chance. I'll keep popping up some of your questions, and in the meantime, just telling you some behind the scenes stories. I see someone saying, "Can we have an actual person with no fighting experience?" Craig wasn't a regular guy. We all know that, and it's kind of a semi joke, I guess. But I agree, Craig wasn't entirely a regular person, but at the same time, he was a regular person. Like he's a regular person in the sense that regular people do martial arts. They go to martial arts training, they train once, twice per week, and that's Craig. They drink beer in the weekends. Again, that's Craig. They work regular jobs. The other guys, they're not regular people. They train martial arts from like 2 years old, and they compete at the highest level. They've been in Shaolin temples, so there's no way you could call them regular. But with Craig, in a way, he's very regular, but also he's very special. But I wouldn't want to actually throw in a person with no fighting experience to the championship because they would probably just get destroyed. You need to have some fighting experience. It wouldn't be fair to that person. But in terms of having someone with less fighting experience, perhaps we'll see. We'll see what season 3 happens. We still have 2 spots. Again, one of them is going to be filled by the contender series from Jeff Phillips. So that person can be various people, but hope probably somewhat in the line of less experienced. And there's still the 7th spot to be filled. So yeah. Now another question we have is, will there be new challenges in next season? Yes, 100%. Especially because we're changing the venue. The season 3 is moving to my home country, Lithuania, where I'm going to film it. So we're going to have a new venue, new places, new environment, new bad guys, and obviously quite a few new challenges. I want to have more challenges. Some of the challenges, I want them bigger and better. And so you will get a couple of challenges which will be modified. Like for example, Shank Tank. That's like a flagship challenge for us. That's gonna stay, but it may have some interesting twists and turns to it. But about and maybe 1 or 2 more challenges may be similar to season 1 and 2, but with different twists. But also there's going to be a bunch of new, fresh, and exciting challenges. So don't worry about that. Now, one suggestion is women contestants are maybe around where people wear full winter clothing. Full winter clothing is a good idea. So I will not say on record whether it's going to happen or not, because that would be a spoiler alert for the contestants, and they would know what to prepare for. But it's a good idea. In terms of women contestants, actually the plan is to have an all-female season 4. I'm very set on doing that, but first I'm committed to filming season 3 and delivering it. But right after season 3 is finished, I'm planning to have an all-female contestant series. I'm super excited about it. I think that's going to be amazing, and I think that's much more fair and reasonable than having women compete against men and then fight all out against each other. I don't think there's plenty that an all female cast, they will still have male attackers. I don't think they need to fight a UFC fighter to prove anything. So yes. Another question: will there be more fights in season 3 than 2, especially being contenders? Again, I can't say anything because whatever I say may lead to the ears of the participants, and they will know what to prepare for. And part of the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship is making sure that everyone is unprepared as much as possible. But yeah, just I can't answer that. We will have to see. Oh, that's a good question. Will season 3 have longer episodes than the previous seasons? So actually, if you read the text on the bottom, that refers to it. The thing is, so my intention, I have very, very strong intentions, because that's one of the biggest requests, is to make the episodes longer. And I'm definitely planning to do that in various ways, but also longer episodes generally also mean bigger budget. That's why the crowdfunding is so important, and here where it comes to place. So as you see on the bottom, it says ultimateselfdefensechampionship.com/support. We reached the 30K minimum amount of budget needed, so season 3 is confirmed. Hooray! Thank you so much to everyone for supporting the show. But at the same time, that's by far not that's not all we need. Like, we will need quite a bit more money than that, and the more money we collect in the crowdfunding, the easier it will be for me to organize and film and release longer episodes. So if you want to, so my plan and my commitment is to make longer episodes 100%, But also, if you want to make sure to help that the episodes are longer, then go to usdchampionship.com/support and help make it into a thing. Any female martial artists we have in mind? I have one Muay Thai fighter potentially lined up. I don't know if I should spoil this to you. There's one female contestant who so many people will be excited about. I'll probably won't say that. Maybe I'll keep it as a surprise, but I'll give you a hint, and that hint's significant. You, all of you, know her. That's all I'll say. But then yeah, and then somebody's saying Gabby. Me and Gabby, my wife, we're talking about her being a contestant in season 4, the all-female one. She's training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She loves it. She's still, new at it, but actually she won silver medal in the beginners Jiu-Jitsu championship, which was awesome. I was so proud of her and so stressed during the championship, during the tournament. But she would need to learn some striking, but she still has some time. There's a chance that she'll be a contestant in season 4, all female. But yeah, that's still yet to be confirmed. Can people apply to become contestants? In the main series, we're looking more for people with like big accomplishments, like special forces soldier, UFC fighter, YouTube celebrities. But if you want to apply to the spin-off show that Jeff Phillips is going to organize, then you can do that. Let me see, what else do we have? Yes, since he's Seth is a sumo champion. Ronda Rousey, someone's saying. I don't think she would be down to do that because we don't have the budget to have people like her and to give her what she deserves in terms of finances. Will there be bar scenarios or something like that? I can neither confirm nor deny, because if I will tell you this is on record, the contestants will know, and that will ruin the surprise. So I cannot say, but perhaps. Do you occasional live streams to keep this interest, Dorcas? Well done. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear it's enjoyable, and thank you everyone for staying with me and having this good evening. Let's continue doing that. Now, until I get more questions, feel free to throw out some more questions. I'll comment on what's happening here in episode 5. So, Jeff Chan with a sexual harasser. He did a pretty good job. Ranton, again, was funny as always. It was a good strategy, actually, to just kind of go with it. And to say like, hey, I'm into this, and to find an opportunity to run. I think it was a very solid opportunity. And the only thing is, I think that the bad guy, the harasser, he turned violent. But Ranton himself did a very good job until then. And Craig is awesome. Craig is amazing, but at the same time, this was not his best performance. There's a line. I mean, it was great. He didn't get into a fight. He didn't really get physically hurt, but at the same time, he still sacrificed something. Like he was harassed quite a bit, and essentially he did a good job. But remember that they are all compared to each other, and if the other people did better, they get better scores. It doesn't mean that Craig did bad, but it was not as good as, for example, Jeff Chan, who was able to talk his way out. So yeah, it's all relative to each other. Now, a question: Have I contacted bodybuilders? Yes, I actually wrote to a bunch of bodybuilders, especially those on social media like YouTube. I'll be honest, I haven't got. Actually, I managed to reach the Pioneer, Adam, but unfortunately, he was really interested in joining, but unfortunately, he has a big family and he needs to take care of, and it seems like he won't be able to join because of his other commitments. So that's too bad. With the other ones, like all those famous Juji Mufu and etc., none of them wrote to me back. So even Houston Jones, I think that's the full name. I asked someone to contact him who knows him. He didn't respond. So maybe bodybuilders are just not into this type of thing. But I'll keep trying. Don't worry. Somebody's saying, love the ideas. Looking forward to season 3 and 4. Love the ideas of women's season. Thank you. Initially, it's interesting because I was a little bit skeptical or worried about an all-female season. Like in season 1, people were suggesting that to me. I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But then one day it just clicked in me, and I realized that's an awesome idea. That's brilliant. I really, really want to do this, and I'm just so pumped. I just want to make sure that I do season 3, and then right after, I'm gonna jump on doing season 4 with all-female season. Craig won't be in season 4, probably. I mean, I will tell you this. This is exciting insiders information. Season 3 will have a number of special guests, like surprise guests. That will have some really cool people, a lot of them who you know, who won't be contestants, but they will appear in the show. So do mark that down. Do remember that. Do memorize that because it's going to be awesome. But Craig, he will be a guest appearance in the spin-off show, the Contender series. But season 4 is all female. I'm not sure if Craig is going to be there, but who knows? You never know. You never know. Sambo black belt, an expert would be interesting. I do not disagree. Let me see what else do you have. Brokos will compete again eventually. Season 4 perhaps. How's your recovery? So season 4, as I just mentioned, but I know not all of you are staying here all the time. Season 4 is going to be an all-female season, so it's very likely that I won't be a contestant there. But I don't know. The thing is, a bunch of people ask me if I'm going to compete again in the championship. But there's one thing I really, really, really want this show to be like the best, most amazing possible show ever, and because of that, if I'm a contestant, that limits my ability to direct and make the show really good because I can't know all the details of the challenges because it needs to be fair. But if I don't know the details, I can direct well. And also I'm busy. I'm stressed about the challenge and I'm stressed about the filming. And like in season 1, when I was a contestant, everyone would go to sleep at 12 a.m. and I would then go to my room, upload all the footage, charge all the cameras, prepare everything. It was like a lot. So, and that makes it hard. I'm really glad I was part of season 1 as a contestant. That was a great experience, but also that limits my ability to make the best possible show. So that's why it's very unlikely I will be a contestant again. But I did what I wanted to do. I took the third place. That was more than enough for me. I proved that I can have I can fight well enough to stand a chance in a self-defense situation. And yeah, I proved to myself that I can do it. And for me, that was more or less enough. I did write to Will Tennyson, did not get a response back. Jesse James West, maybe I could write to him as well. Let me see, what else do you have? I wrote to Eddie Hall, didn't get a response. So if you want to write to Eddie Hall and ask him in my behalf, be my guest. Maybe it's going to make a difference. Let's see what was here. It would be amazing to have a contest draw for folks who can't afford to help with the crowdfunding. We really want to participate in the retreat. So Steffi Roth D, actually, thank you for bringing that up. The retreat. I actually forgot to mention and introduce it in the beginning of the live stream. I was supposed to actually say that. It's on my list of things that I didn't say it. So we are planning a retreat now on the crowdfunding. The retreat is it's introduced in a specific way. It's part of the crowdfunding, meaning which is it's more expensive because you get all the other stuff with it. But the good news is the retreat, I will be announcing it in about a week officially. It's going to have a reduced price compared to the crowdfunding, so it's already going to be cheaper. And I'm still looking and nailing down the final details about the venue where it's going to happen in Lithuania. But the point is that we'll probably have different rooms, and it's possible that we'll have cheaper entry levels. So, for example, if you're okay with living with 3 other people in a 4-person's room, you may have a cheaper price. If you want a VIP experience of having a whole room for yourself with a king size bed, you pay a bit more. So we'll try to do our best to make it more accessible for everyone. But Steffi, your idea about having at least one person as a kind of a kind of a lottery winner. That's a cool idea. I'll actually think about it. Thank you for suggesting that. So Knuckles sandwich, girls need heroes, a women's season needs to happen. So it's 100% planned. I'm very committed to doing it right after season 3. So let's make it happen. Netflix will corrupt it. I actually, this is a long story, and I won't say it in a long way, but actually producers are already starting to contact me, and they're offering to sign what's called a shopping agreement, which means that I give them permission to offer the show to like Netflix and other Hulu and stuff. And so that those options are starting to appear, but I'm concerned about it as well. I'm worried that I would get probably a lot of money for it, but it's like money is not the main thing in life. It's like money's not necessarily going to make me happier, but this show is making me happy, and I can do it in a way where it's the best show I possibly can make. So there's a danger that executives and etc. may make the show better, but there's also a chance that they're going to make it worse. So I'm very wary about all those offers. That's an interesting idea. Could we get a season where the bad guys of previous seasons will be actual contestants? Maybe in the spin-off show. I think that's a cool idea. Plus, we'll have new bad guys in season 3. Let's see. Would you ever consider a scenario that simulates what it's like to be in a self-defense scenario with a disability? Maybe. So it's a cool idea. If all of you have more ideas, do let me know. I could get in touch with Steven Wonderboy Thompson, but he's very busy. He's still signed up for UFC and active fighters, on a very high level. So I asked some people who know him if he would be interested, and so far it seems probably no. So I didn't go for it. Let's see what else. Do we have any more questions? Will season 3 contain complete new challenges? Most challenges will be different in some ways. Some challenges will be similar but modified, and some will be completely new. So a whole mix. Similar, like the difference between season 1 and season 2, but probably even more different because it's a new venue, new country, new team. So yeah, we'll probably see a lot of new things happening. Let me see what else is here. Okay, until I get some more questions, let's see what's happening. So we just tuned into the boring part, which is the scoring, but I can talk about it. So in terms of the scoring, some people thought like Jesse did the best, or Craig did the best. I think the scoring here is correct because again, a lot of people forget that they are compared to each other, and all of the challenges are compared to each other. And Nathan had so many really, really good solutions in most of the challenges, where others, they had some highlights, like they did really well in one challenge, but they did worse in another challenge. And when you compare everything on paper and you write it down, then it's not as it's not when you don't cherry pick and you don't look at a single challenge, it becomes more clear that some people did better overall. And we are ready to look at the final episode. So this intro was actually quite proud of it because all of the intros, it's very different from the intros before. This is kind of more tense, and there's the heartbeat. Usually, I used music. In all the other intros and outros, and this one is like I wanted something different, and I think it worked out really well. Also, like this bit of kind of the music is slowly building up, and there's a whole recap of what happened until then, and some new things to set up the stakes. It's like I was quite happy the way it turned out, and even though the episode turned out fairly short, but because the final fights they are short, and I'm thinking already in season 3 how to make the final episode longer because of the nature of the short, how short the fights are. But yeah, I'm coming up with some ideas. But overall, like this episode, I enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit. Let's see if you have any new questions. Maybe a season of duos competing where the winner gets a tag team self-defense belt. Maybe, that's an interesting idea. Thief entering the house in the middle of the night. Maybe. Again, I can't say I can neither deny or confirm because that will make it hard. Make it ruin the adrenaline experience and the unknown for the contestants. Will ever have an all-female cast? I know people are tuning in and out, but yes, season 4 is planned to be an all-female season, and I'm super excited about it. How my leg is healing? I will actually release a video of about my leg recovery in the next couple of weeks. Now it's like crazy. I'm doing so much to organize season 3. I'm losing my mind sometimes. I'm driving to different cities and visiting different venues, meeting with videographers and various locations and the bad guys. It's just so much, but to organize the season 3. But eventually, I'll get all the things set, and then things will calm down, and then I will make a video about my leg. What else do we have? Is it my imagination suggesting make a defense move to your leg sweep video injury? I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly, so please feel free to rephrase it. How about a scenario when you are at the job and have to defend? Usually you cannot punch customers. That was kind of the bouncer scenario was kind of that, although it's a bit different too. It's more your job to defend people versus defend yourself. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. I'll just look at what's happening here on the episode. Yeah, the fight between Jeff and Craig was pretty epic. I mean, all the fights were epic. It was so cool to actually I get the chance to see them live because finally I got out of the bed. I tested negative for COVID. So yeah, I had the chance to see the fights, but also editing them and seeing them from different angles. Man, they're like they were quite epic, and all of us were surprised by how well Craig did. Obviously, yes, the helmet thing. Jeff Chan is used to fighting, when there's no distance, like he just misses the punches, and so when there's the helmet is sticking out, you need to take that into account. It took him time to adjust, but overall, yeah, both guys did really good. Am I considering scenarios where you need to access danger, like if somebody else is being attacked by multiple armor scenes and the contestant must choose to help or run away? Good idea. I cannot confirm or deny because I cannot spoil anything, neither for you, but also especially for the contestants, to keep it a surprise. Will you have women as bad guys in season 3? Neither confirm nor deny. Sorry, I'm a broken record now. Let's look at the fight between Karate Nerd and Lethal Levy. The kick, oh my god, it was like we all looked and we're all like, oh no, Jesse, don't kick the counter. Like I realized it was a mistake, but yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that was unexpected. And then he keeps kicking, and we spoke about this moment before with the other contestants here, but like as soon as Nathan jumped on the table, we're like, no, this is so dangerous. And then Jesse is kicking the leg of Nathan to make him fall down, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. Don't do this, guys. We're not intending for you to jump on the counter. But luckily, these are pros, and we all they all did well and didn't hurt themselves. And yeah, this is an interesting part, that, I mean, Jesse knows grappling, but there is generally an interesting tendency that strikers tend to grapple in stressful situations, and grapplers tend to strike in stressful positions. It's a weird, very weird thing that happens. And it doesn't happen always, but it happens often enough. You can find videos of it when there's a wrestling match, like a wrestling tournament, and guys start to fight between each other. They start swinging, and you're like, you're wrestlers, why are you swinging? So yeah. And this one, again, just the editing. I just have so many memories of editing the show. I did it for almost a year to get the show out. But yeah, the whole thing, like this music, you can hear it here. There's the build up. It's building up to this epic fight where it's like, okay, stuff is about to happen, and there's the fade to black and slow-mo. Rantan jumps over the counter. So Nathan saw it coming, but but at the same time, I was like, oh my god, Ramson, he was concerned about fighting Yatan, and he decided to do the opposite. He decided to jump into the fight. So it was crazy, but also crazy cool of him to do that. Yeah, will I ever have an episode of kids or teen competing? Again, it's an idea. I'm gonna have to look into it. What about Scenario being attacked in a crowded place? Because cost celebrities and politicians have lost their lives this way. Great idea. I cannot either confirm nor deny. Are all season 3 events planned out? Most of them. I have a scheduled. Obviously, it's kept in a safe, locked safe. No one can see it. But yeah, I have a schedule lined up. Most challenges are already conceptually decided and broken down, but we still need to rehearse them with the bad guys. I need to find exact venues. So it's still a work in progress, but most events, they have maybe out of a lot of challenges, because I'm planning more challenges for season 3 than other seasons before. So I have general plans for them, but I have a couple of events not yet decided, but most of them, yes, they are planned. Do you think you would get a primarily Taekwondo fighter in future seasons? I'd actually love to do a purist season in the future. That's another idea I have, where you get like a karate guy who never trained anything outside of karate, Taekwondo guy, like Aikido guy who never trained outside of Aikido. Those people are hard to find, especially the further it goes, the harder it is to find them, because more and more people cross train, and those people are not, the purists are not as interested to risk their reputation. But if I could find a bunch of those people, it would be fascinating. So maybe in the future, hopefully in the future. Absolutely love that you're doing a live stream of this. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear it. We've already been here for 2.5 hours, so it's been a long viewing, but I'm glad we have a whole bunch of you still staying and enjoying this time together. So thank you. Let's see if we have any more questions. Okay, while we're getting questions, I will talk about this. So I love that Ranton here, went up, and he's so careful. He wants to make sure he doesn't hurt anyone. But he's such an entertainer. Like it's part of him. Like he sees how to make content in every bit, and it becomes very natural to him. And I love that about him. And the fact that he jumped on the thing and started kicking, that was awesome. And Jesse's funny here, but also it's funny that Jesse thought about going easy on Craig. Craig is not going easy on him, but this was the funniest part, where the difference between us Europeans and Australians, like Jesse's like, oh, he's trying to rip my head off, and he's like, I'm just giving a neck massage. It's like Australia versus Europe. It was pretty funny. But yeah, that also too, that is actually a self-defense thing. The head manipulation, and I didn't know about it before I met Jeff Phillips. I went to a couple of his sessions while I was in Australia in between filming, and he taught head manipulation. I knew that there's a saying in jiu-jitsu, where your head goes, your body goes, and it's true. But then it turns out you can really turn someone's head, and it becomes very hard for them to keep fighting. So it's a pretty solid tool that only Craig used during the championship, probably because they don't teach that much in MMA. But Jeff Phillips obviously taught Craig that. Another question: would we have contestants that are primarily weapon fighters, like fencing, kendo, bohurt? I thought about it, and I was considering inviting maybe like a HEMA person into the season. So far, it doesn't seem it's going to happen in season 3, but yeah, it could be an interesting idea. Obviously, ideally they'd know how to fight at least a little bit, because otherwise it would be very hard for them. But yeah. Do you know DKU? Yeah, I know DKU. He's very controversial. If you saw his actual fights, where he fights in boxing, like 95% of what he teaches does not come up, and it's like, well, obviously, if you know how fighting works, Actually, let's stop here for a moment. The most epic fight. I mean, they're all epic, but like this one is like, oh my god, you could just sit here and just like rewatch it 10 times. The kick, and like they're banging each other out, and just like, oh my god, that was so epic. And it's funny because again, that's how Jeff Chan is. Some of the contestants were worried about fighting Nathan. They're like, oh my god, he's a UFC fighter. And Jeff's comment is like, I wish the fight was longer. It's like, can I fight him again? And then they did actually. After these final fights, they went to the basketball court and fought again. And that video you can find on Jeff Chan's channel and Instagram account. It's like, it's so cool that Jeff just welcomes fighting. He's like all about that. And yeah, he's not shying away from a fight, and it shows. They both, Nathan and himself, they really matched well in their fight. That's a funny editing moment too. You can hear it on the music. It's like, whoa, wait, where he's sitting off with my helmet, and then and Jesse's so nice, and he helps him, and music restarts. So he just helped him. They're being nice to each other. 2 seconds later, wham! Kicks him out of the room, starts beating him down. So that switch was funny to me. And then the epic music and slow motion. But I liked it because Rantan here, he's still fighting. He's trying to add leg kicks, and he looks at Jesse. He's not covering up. He's not like giving up. He's like actually like fighting back. And it's kudos to him. What else do we have here? Yeah, I also wanted to really emphasize that Rantan did great. Like he's very critical of himself, but personally I was like, my gosh, he did so well, because he knew he's coming in as an underdog. But I mean, yeah, he obviously had a hard start, but then the way he switched in the Shank Tank, it was like, I think it's easy for me to say now because it happened, but somewhere deep down inside, in my heart, I felt that he's capable of that, and I was kind of expecting him for that to happen. But yeah, the fact that he transformed it that way, that was amazing. And then we have the final fight between Craig. This was an actual thing. Now I'm telling that in the series as well, but Craig had hurt his elbow, and I saw that in the bus. Like he kept like shaking the hand and kind of holding it, and I was like, Craig, you're injured. Like, man, like he still had like a number of fights ahead of him, and I was like, Craig, I mean, you're injured. Let's stop this. I mean, I don't want you to risk yourself. And he's like, no, I'm fine. He's like pretending nothing is happening, and then he at the end he walks up to Nathan and says, hey, let's do 100%. Like, don't hold back on me. And I was like, whoa, no, that's a guy, that's a man. I can totally see why people love Craig. He deserves all the love. And then again, this ending is all dramatic, and yeah, I'm pretty happy the way it all turned out. So we can just enjoy it for a little bit as we're slowly coming to the end.
I was just thinking, just try.
And no, Nathan says here, avoid his right at all costs. And actually, if you take note, Craig hits him with a right. He actually does get hit. So not here. He enters, and then look, wham. That's a right hand. So, there's no guarantees that would have knocked him out. Probably not. It was more towards the forehead. But yeah, Craig lost this one clearly because of especially because of the dominant position of Nathan at the end, but he did amazing. It was a great fight, and this is a UFC fighter, top level. And then we have this part. I was like, so like, when I was, this was the end of everything. I was editing the show for like, more than 7 months, more than a half year, and then I have this music playing, and then I honestly got emotional just editing this. Like I was like, wow, this actually turned out so well, because when I edit, I don't have exact ideas of how I'm gonna do it. It's like I just edit and figure out things as I go. And when I came up with this decision to have this emotional ending, I was like, it was all worth it. It was worth making the show. It was so much effort and so difficult to make it happen, but I was like, it was worth it. It was worth it. And then we had this moment. Actually, one moment we did not include. It was throwing throwing Nathan in the pool. But yeah, that actually did happen. And yeah, that another approach for me is I want all of the contestants to come out as heroes. There are heroes for participating because they all have social media following. They're risking their reputation. But then the fact that they come over here, they do it, they risk themselves. I was like, they're like 100%. They're like they deserve to be shown in the best possible light instead of any other way. And yeah, season 3 support season 3. DisneyChampionship.com support. Kevin Lee, he had twins. He had twins recently, and it was very hard for him to find free time to do it, but he did. And then I don't know if you saw this one. Look, there's a end screen and end credits scene.
Welcome to the Ultimate Self-Defense Championship. That was aggressive. I did this. I did this. Yeah.
Cool. So we're at the end of our program, and I know a lot of you are going to start just jumping off because you realize this ended. But just in 30 seconds, I'll just wrap things up. Again, thank you everyone for your support for season 3. We already reached the goal, and that means season 3 is definitely happening. But again, just to mention it, whether everyone wants longer episodes, and longer episodes do need more budget. 30,000 is the very minimum I need to pull off the show. But the more budget we collect, the easier it will be for me to make longer episodes. So if you have a chance to support the show, please do. Every bit of support helps. And yeah, just again, thank you for everyone for the love for the show. It keeps me excited, it keeps me going and wanting to make an even better and bigger show in the future. So thank you all for your support, and let's make the season 3 even bigger and better. Cool. And thank everyone for staying here all the way until the end. I really appreciate it. Cool. See you next time.